Hello and welcome to Narayana IAS Academy, your one-stop destination for making UPSC dream a reality. I heartily welcome you to today's SAKSHAM test series discussion, where I shall be walking you through important CSAT verbal ability questions. And we all know, talking about the Civil Services Aptitude test, it is completely based on your reasoning ability. So when I say verbal ability, I am referring to a set of question passages which are followed by some inference-based, theme-based or passage-based questions. So let's quickly see these passages, use our special techniques and then try to find the most appropriate answer to these questions here. And once again, before we start, success happens due to hard work, but always is a result of perseverance. So with that, I welcome you once again to our SAKSHAM test series. And the very first passage of the day is right in front of you. Let's read the passage. Overall, a short passage to be followed by one inference question. So let's see what the passage really talks about. Well, the passage says public transportation in numerous Indian cities is still lacking in development, resulting in greater reliance on private vehicles. Now, many times I have told the students that whenever we read a CSAT passage, read the first line and take a short pause. It should enable you to figure out the main theme behind the passage. And we know that we are talking about traffic congestion in Indian cities, but also there is a discussion on private vehicles, which means somewhere we are complaining against crumbling government transport infrastructure. With that in mind, let's proceed. But before we proceed, now in case you have forgotten, you know that I often tell you about rule number 3, 4, rule number half and one secret diamond rule which I have given only on this special platform at Narayana IAS Academy, according to which there is always a word in the passage which is consistently being repeated. The word could be coming after every third line or every second line, but whenever that word consistently keeps coming in front of us, we know that somewhere the answer is hiding behind that word. So that's the diamond rule. We need to figure it out. But also let's understand that here the most important skill is to understand synonyms. The relevant option will always use the same language, the same content, the same context of the passage, but in a slightly different word, in a slightly different expression. And that's why we have to develop our synonym antonym ability quite well to tackle these passages. Coming back to rule number 3 and 4, wherever in the passage you find words like that, T-H-A-T, yes, make sure that the line that follows it is very crucial. It will help you in finding the right answer. Similarly, if you find words such as but, although, one is right in the third line. However, until, unless, moreover, for, since, please make sure that you focus here. Take a pause. The line that follows these words will also help you in finding the right answer, and these are called structure words. Apart from that, we have two special techniques called the golden rule number 1 and 2, but that are applicable only in the question. So let's just revise them once we finish the passage. So far, we know that the passage is complaining about private transportation, which people use because Indian cities lack public transport facilities. Now, this trend exacerbates. That's a wonderful word here. Exacerbate means to make something worse, to further ruin something, to make something go to shambles. It's just the opposite of the word ameliorate. When you ameliorate something, you always make it better. When you exacerbate something, you always only increase the pace. You expedite the pace in which it happens. So this tendency has ruined problems like traffic jams, air pollution, plus it has also escalated. Escalated? Risen. To jump up, to spiral high, your oil imports. Okay. Now, although structure word, the next line is crucial therefore, although there are policies aimed at enhancing, improving metro, rail, bus, rapid transit systems, their execution is frequently hindered, spoiled, devastated, stopped by delays, budgetary issues, insufficient integration among different modes of transport. Additionally, there are concerns about safety, punctuality, cleanliness, and all these tend to discourage the users. Long back when we were doing our mock series, when we were doing our prelims revision series, remember I had told you that there are certain words that you should always learn because CSAT vocabulary is very predictable. So if you get a hang of the CSAT language and vocabulary, you will find that the words are being consistently repeated passage by passage. That really helps you. So here dissuade would mean to discourage. The opposite of persuade. I had that time taught you a word called cajole. Cajoling is to persuade somebody. This is just the opposite. To discourage somebody. So all these problems just discourage the users from using public transport. That's the problem. People depend on private transport. Besides that, additionally, now the structure word is moreover, but additionally is just a synonym of moreover. So we can say apart from that, there's another problem. Concerns regarding safety, punctuality, cleanliness. They also tend to discourage the users. Experts suggest that, rule number 3, next line crucial. Experts say that transitioning. This word transitioning is often always there in the Hindu newspaper, and that's why I say please listen to the DNA sessions too, because transition words is, this word is often being used when we talk about transiting from a non-renewable coal-based, kerosene-based economy into a one that's run by renewable energy, clean energy, solar energy. Like just few days back we had an article that spoke about why are Indian coal imports so high? Because yet we are not transitioning into solar energy based economy. So the word transition means to change, to actually change from one form to another. So that's what is happening now, and the reason why in India people are not ready to make a transition from private to public transport necessitates it needs not only investment in infrastructure, but structure word argument changes, a thorough revaluation of urban mobility. Urban mobility? Mobility is all about movement. Your mobile phone, why is it called mobile? Because you just, it gives you the freedom to pace around, to walk around and then communicate. So mobility means transportation. Okay, movement, anything that's free and mobile. So urban transport is basically a priority, and that's not happening here. And rather than vehicles ensuring effective last mile connectivity, people prefer public transport. Having a metro is not enough because people feel that at least it doesn't have the last mile connectivity. We still will have to either walk or use our public transport from end to end. So better we use our private transport only. And these are certain very, very dissuading factors actually. So as I said, there is another rule called rule number half. The last line is always crucial. Last line. If this transition does not occur, if it doesn't happen, urban development may become unsustainable. What is unsustainable? What's sustainable? Sustainable is something that can be sustained. It can be held on to, which happens over a very long period of time. That gives you stability, long-term stability. Remember sustainable development goals? A lot of students say it means for a better present day life. No, sustainable means something that also keeps ensured that your future is good, something that happens over a long period of time. So here, this kind of a dependence on private vehicles and not showing interest towards public transport that's public in nature will always keep these things unsustainable, whether it's ecology, whether it's economic. I mean, how much can people spend on private taxis and private cars? Fuel prices are rising. It leads to inflation of fuel prices. Similarly, there's limited capacity, there's traffic congestion. Of course, we talk about the poor air quality in India. So all these things, therefore, talk about one thing. All in all, if I was to ask you, what's the main message you learned from the passage? Remember, I always say, behind every passage, there is a secret message. What did I learn from the passage? What new thing? What did the author have in mind? What was the intention of the author while writing the passage? What's that here? It's just one thing. The transitioning from public-based transportation to private-based transportation will not happen unless we make sure that public transport is infrastructurally systematic and good. That's the passage. Now the question, which of the following is the most logical, rational conclusion that can be made from the passage? Now the word conclusion is an inference-based question. When you make an inference, you always make a conclusion. So let me quickly remind you. If in the civil services aptitude exam, a question uses words like conclude, argue, suggest, imply, infer, or conclusion. They always mean it's an IBQ. So let's see A. India's investment in metro rail projects has yielded poor results. Is that the main message of the passage? Is that the conclusion you and I can make? That because India has invested in metro rail, but the results have been really poor. No, that's absolutely not the main inference I can draw. B. Improving urban transport requires better planning and user-centric design. Yeah? Because that's what we said, that there is a poor designing of urban public infrastructure, transportation. We are talking about urban mobility, aren't we? I told you there is always a secret diamond rule at play. There are certain words from the passage which match the correct answer. If I was to ask you what's the meaning of urban mobility, would you not say that the meaning is urban transport? Is it different if I say urban transport or if I say urban mobility? No, it's not different. So which means it's just the same. Improving urban mobility or transport needs better planning and user-centric design. Yes, because people feel that there is a problem. There is no last mile connectivity. So they need to be consumer friendly. Okay. So yeah, we can keep that on a hold. See, increasing oil imports is the primary concern in Indian urban development. No, not at all. The passage is not talking about the problem of rising import, balance of payments, or poor balance of trade, or excessive oil dependence. Not at all. While it may be true, but in CSAT we are not finding the true or false. We are always finding the conclusion from the passage, and it has nothing to do with oil imports. Not correct. D. Public transport systems are economically unviable, unusable, unfriendly, not logical in India. But are we saying that public transport system is economically poorly designed? In fact, we are saying just the opposite. That if you want that your country should be environmentally and economically sustainable, then you should depend on public transport. Just the opposite. So this is rule number 2. Very important. What's rule number 2? The Magna Carta of Comprehension. Rule number 2 says if there is any answer option that does not relate to the passage directly or indirectly, that's out of scope of the passage, not mentioned or discussed in the passage, even referred to in the passage, it is completely wrong. And this is rule number 2. Yes, it's out of scope. We are not talking about this, so we can remove that. Correct? And absolutely B is the valid answer. That's the crux and the essence of the passage too. That yes, we need to have a better design and a more user-friendly urban public transport. Is that clear? Now jumping on to the second passage of the day, let's see what the passage says. First line and stop. Traditional farming practices in India are often criticized for being outdated. Another very good word for outdated. I remember speaking about this word when we were doing the revision classes for CSAT. What was that one good word? I had taught everybody about outdated. Something that's completely, considered as outdated and something that's not useful anymore. Redundant was one word. What was the other? Yes, it was obsolete, absolutely. So do keep reminding yourself of these words often. Because when you do, you make your life easy for the upcoming examinations. The words are very repetitive in CSAT, okay? So traditional farming practices in India are often criticized. People say they're not good. Why? They say that they're very outdated. They're actually very, they reflect very deep ecological knowledge accumulated, collected, deposited over generations. So what a paradox. The first line of the passage tells us that although people criticize Indian farming as obsolete and outdated, but there is a different reality. And the reality is that, in fact, these farming practices are very traditional. They show how people in India have deeply cherished ecology. We have a deep ecological connection and knowledge. Because these are coming as a heritage, something that comes from generations of practice. It's called a heritage. So we can say it's a very, very cultural heritage-based practice of farming. These methods prioritize. They give priority to the soil health, yes, crop diversity. Now, crop diversity is because you know that much before the Green Revolution in India, it was very common to have, poly farming or mixed farming where the farmer would grow many different kind of crops together. Now it doesn't happen anymore because after Green Revolution, only the commercially viable crops were grown like wheat, rice, sugar, oil pulses. So what happened? Eventually the same kind of crop completely devastates the soil health. It rules the soil profile. And no wonder traditional farming practices would say that you must grow a legume, and then you must grow an orchard, and you must have a vegetable, and then you must have a cereal crop. Why? Because all these things do nitrogen fixation, they enable the soil health, but with monocropping, one kind of crop, it doesn't happen. Right? So that's the complaint the passage is making. The traditional farming is very smart actually. It takes care of soil health, it takes care of cropping with diversity, which is very good for the soil. Also, it ensures that the soil is productive for many more years to come. Okay, but the modern farming is not good. Why? Because it's completely based on chemical. Yeah, I mean, come on, relate the 1960s green revolution to the toxicity of soil that's happening primarily in Punjab, Haryana, or the Delhi NCR region. Why? Because people, we know that once they start using chemicals and fertilizers in soil, the soil health goes alkaline. It becomes saline, it cannot reproduce. Then what do? They keep on adding fertilizer, pesticides, it's a vicious cycle. Ultimately, you not only devastate the ecology, you devastate your own health. And that's what they say. That today's farming is chemical intensive. It often wants short-term benefits. Yeah, use fertilizers, use more and more pesticides, and you will get a good crop. But do we even realize in the long term, can we do this forever? No, we cannot. Okay, so for example, I often tell my students not to give too much attention to examples in the passages. So a very important thing to remember is that no matter how much misguidance is there on the internet nowadays, there is an overdose of free information. Take it with a pinch of salt. Because in reality, for every CSAT passage that you see, data should always be avoided. Data misleads you, data misguides you. The questions would never be based on numbers or figures or facts. Escape that. Remove that. Don't bother. Second thing that you must ignore are examples. Do not focus too much on examples in the passage. Focus on the main idea. Third is to always avoid proper nouns if they are discussed in the passage. So for example, if the passage talks about the names of people, places, animals, or in general things, cities, countries, avoid. Organizations, that's really unimportant. Please don't waste time on that. Having said that, there is an example here. We'll not focus much. It just says, for instance, monocropping. Monocropping, opposite of polycropping. Growing same variety of crop. Excessive pesticide use have damaged soil quality. It has contaminated groundwater, correct. Now, ironically, paradoxically, a very sad reality is that some modern techniques are now trying to copy, they are trying to replicate the same traditional wisdom. But today they are not agreeing, they are not honestly confessing that we are trying to use our traditional wisdom of Indian farming. They are now making it very fancy and they say we are organic, we are regenerative. But in reality, all these claims about being organic, regenerative are nothing, but they are all trying to copy traditional Indian farming practices. Okay, so therefore, recognizing the value of indigenous, local, something that happens with your own soil, domestic farming practices may be crucial, important in designing future agriculture policies. Rule number 3, that are both sustainable and resilient to climate change. What's resilient? Adaptable. Something that has the capacity to cope with climate change. Now, I've often seen students are always saying words like cope up. It's wrong. Cope and up don't go together. It's a very poor cliche that's used in English. Cope up. No, you don't say cope up. You always say cope with. Okay? So remember, do not use up with cope. So therefore, it will also help us in coping with climate change. Now let's see the question. Question talks about inference. So what kind of question should this be? IBQ. And what do you do in an IBQ? You become a detective and you try to figure out what conclusion can I make after seeing the evidences from the passage. As I've said multiple times before, every passage in the CSAT exam is not a story. It's not a narrative. It is always a case study. A case study that talks about one problem at a time. So make sure you use this case study very wisely. Read it only once thoroughly. What did I say? Yes, only once thoroughly. And then try to collect all the evidences, add them together, and then try to make a logical conclusion. So could that be A? Traditional farming is more profitable than modern farming. Is that what the passage says? Absolutely. Rule number 2 out of scope. B. Agricultural policy must shift back to exclusively traditional methods. Is that what the passage is saying? That we should completely stop modern farming and absolutely 100% go back to traditional farming? No. C. Sustainable agriculture. Yes, we are talking about sustainability. Can I show you the diamond word here? May I? Come with me to the passage back again. What is the word sustainable? Sustainable means something that can stick for a long time. So this is almost like a synonym. I said it's all a game of synonyms. Sustainable is long term. Opposite of fourth line, short term. Last line, rule number half, sustainable, match the following. Sustainable agriculture. So sustainable agriculture is something that can be done for a long period of time without compromising on quality. Should include. It should also include traditional ecological knowledge. Yes, because that's what we are saying. Today we are saying organic, regenerative, but at the end of the day, the last line says, if you are able to respect your local, indigenous, and what's the synonym for indigenous? Something that has been happening in your own area for a long period of time. Traditional, domestic, something that's your heritage. So if you respect that and you include that in modern farming, results would be good for you. Absolutely the valid response then. D, modern farming techniques are entirely, completely responsible for climate change? No, the passage is not doing that kind of a blame game here. So C, absolutely is the most important inference that I can make from the passage. Easy, right? It's all about using the rules and it's all about knowing more and more synonyms. Yes. Third passage for you. The rapid development, the quick development of artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning has led to major breakthroughs. What are major breakthroughs? Breakthroughs are developments. Stunning developments, absolutely mind-blowing creations, innovations in data processing. How do you manage your data? Natural language generation. Just 2 days back in one of the Hindu paper analysis, I have in detail spoken about large language models and the GMU and the GPU. And I've also spoken about machine learning, and that's why it's important to follow newspapers, especially news analysis, because unless you do that, these passages will always look alien to you. Because have you ever asked yourself, why are CSAT passages so difficult to look at? Why? Because I have showed you before with proof in one of our lecture series that all these passages are legitimately blindly copied from the editorial page articles of the Hindu, Indian Express, Times of India and Economic Times, and that's the reason we break all these newspaper articles for you. So you benefit not only by knowing the news but also by learning how to ace the passages. Okay, so that's exactly what we are talking about again, natural language generation. All things that are coming as a part of machines or technology doing human-like work. It also helps in decision making, okay, all these are very innovative. While these advancements promise efficiency, yes, they're very fast and they're very accurate. Automation, it's an automatic technology. Robotic technology that's doing your work for you. Across various sectors, yes, healthcare, agriculture, education, concerns, worries about ethical issues of transparency and job displacement continue, they remain. Obviously, people say that if all the work will be done by machines through AI, what work will people do? It's a valid question. Similarly, transparency. Are the people who are using these techniques doing them ethically? Is there a danger of a loss that's happening to people in terms of their data leakage, their privacy concerns? Yeah, all that is valid. AI systems often operate as black boxes. Black boxes? Things that people do not know about, things that are very unclear. Can I teach you another beautiful word for the word unclear? Something that's not clear, something that's very ambiguous. Another good word for ambiguous? Nebulous. Please, friends, work on vocabulary, because the better vocabulary you have at the end of the day, the better quality answers you write, the more you understand the topics of the questions, essay topics, and the better you understand CSAT passages at the end of the day. Okay, so ambiguity, being nebulous, it's all like very confusing. It's in the dark. We don't know. This makes decision without user fully understanding the underlying logic. Like people like you and I would never even understand. People like you and I would never even know actually that what's the real technology behind these things. But still we continue doing that because we do not know, and that's the danger of AI. So this opacity, beautiful word, opacity, lack of transparency, when something is completely blocked. You cannot see that. For example, a window can be transparent if you can see outside. If it's completely black, it's opaque. There's nothing I can see through. Something that doesn't reflect. It's totally dark. So opacity, opposite of transparency. This lack of clarity and transparency has raised questions about accountability. How much can we depend on AI, especially when such systems are deployed as used in sensitive areas like healthcare, criminal justice, or financial services? What if there's a leakage? What if there's a mishap? What if there's a privacy concern? Balancing innovation with ethical oversight. So the passage makes a whole claim. It says that yes, be innovative. Do use AI because it's very efficient and it's very automatic, but make sure that the ethical concerns are also taken care of. That's a big challenge for policymakers and people who are using this technology. Question please. Which of the following best reflects the central idea of the passage? Now anybody who's taken my CSAT classes before would know by now that central idea, main idea, critical message, summary, crux, gist, all these words mean one thing. The question is a TBQ, a theme-based question, where we are trying to decode that one secret message behind the passage given by the author. Is it A? AI can improve decision-making in all sectors if made transparent. There is a golden rule number 1 in CSAT Comprehension, which says that if there is an answer option that's using extreme words like all, every, each, none, never, it's a red alert. Be cautious. There is a good chance it may not be correct, and it is not correct. So rule number 1 can be prodigally used to rule out options which are showing you an extreme kind of a scenario, while the passage will never be an extreme scenario. It's a very balanced case studies. All CSAT passages will be a neutral tone case studies, so the scope of extreme words will always make you go wrong. It's not correct. B. AI is likely to replace human jobs in main industries. Key industries are like the main, you can say the hardcore industries in any country. That's not what the passage says. That's not the main message. See, policymakers should ban the AI in sensitive areas. No, we are not saying that. We are just saying that when it's used in sensitive areas, we have to be careful. It raises an ethical question. We are not saying don't do it, please. Future is AI. We know that. Come on. D. The growth of AI requires strong ethical and regulation frameworks. Yeah, can we match the following now? What is ethical oversight? Ethical framework. Oversight is a framework, a policy, a management policy. What do I mean when I say words like regulatory frameworks? Technologies who are using it alike. Absolutely, D is the most valid answer. That's the secret message that my passage is trying to inform me about. So now the next passage of the day, let's see what the passage says. The passage says global access to clean drinking water. Topic is ecology, of course. Clean drinking water is considered a basic human right, yet structure word argument changes. Millions of people still lack it. They do not have it. Safe drinking water is a basic human right, and yet people do not have it. What an irony. It's very interesting to note that majority CSAT passages always talk about ironies. There are always case studies which show you some problem, and here the problem is lack of water. While international efforts have led to improvement in infrastructure, challenges such as pollution, over-extraction of groundwater, inefficient water governance persist. When something is persisting, it just continues unabated. It continues unstopped, uncurtailed. So when something continues unabated, we could say that, yeah, it is something that's continuing perpetually on and on and on. Now, in some developing countries, quick urbanization, rapid urbanization has outpaced. What is outpaced? What is outpaced? Outgrown. Something that exceeds your speed, something that's faster than you. It has outgrown the water supply systems clearly with high population, rapid, quick urbanization, concretization, there is construction, there is need to fill more people with food, there's agriculture, water supply is becoming weak now. It's leading to scarcity and inequality. That's so sad. Not only is water less, but also there is an unequal access. While the poor communities are still depending on public tap connections, the rich and the private communities can have their own luxury fountains and wash tubs and all. So you see there is a huge discrepancy in the usage of water. Moreover, structure word argument changes, climate change exacerbates. Now, do you realize why I always talk about learning synonyms? The word exacerbate has just been seen by us in the previous to previous passage. First passage of the day. What's exacerbate? Something that's made worse. Something that you make always increase the pace of something worsening. The opposite of ameliorate. Very, very good. So made very bad, very fast when you spoil something. Okay, that's exacerbate. Increase the pace of. Exacerbate these issues by unpredictable rainfall and droughts. Yeah, of course, climate is always very uncertain phenomena. So therefore, lack of rainfall will make water supply worse. Addressing. What is addressing? Mitigating, solving, arbitrating. This global water crisis will need more than just technological solutions. It needs political will. The political parties have to have good public policy, community participation, absolutely. Say, for example, in water security, water saving water, in sharing water equally, in making sure that natural bodies of water are not destroyed by public use, and therefore long-term resource planning. Very interesting, very easy question. Which of the following is best summarizing the critical or the central message of the passage? Both these words, summary and message, point out to a TBQ, a theme-based question, where you will try to find out the one hidden message or the one lesson you learned from the passage. Is it A? Technological innovation must lead the way. It must lead us in solving clean water problem supported by governance reforms. No, we are not saying that. Definitely we are talking about governance reforms. Second part of the statement is correct, but we are not saying that technical innovation should be the main leader when you talk about solving the problem. No, because the passage talks about myriad solutions. What do you mean by the word myriad? I had taught this in the previous series. Multifaceted, multidimensional, when many things are being spoken about. So here we need a myriad solution. Community participation, public policy, long-term resource management, political will. So not just one. B. Urbanization and climate change are the dominant forces behind water scarcity in developing countries. No, we are not talking about developing or developed countries. We are saying in some developing countries. We are not saying in all developing countries. Make sure. Third line, focus please. Fourth line. We are not saying all developing countries. You can't do that blanket blaming. Some developing countries, which means some developed countries could also be involved. Out of scope. Rule number 2. No, be very cautious with the words, please. C. Ensuring universal access to clean water requires a multi-dimensional strategy that goes beyond infrastructure development. Could you please define the word multi-dimensional? Myriad. Multi-pronged. Is the last line not talking about a myriad solution? Many solutions at once. Political will, community participation, long-term resource planning. There are many solutions, myriad solutions, multifaceted solutions, multi-dimensional strategy. Absolutely correct. Last, international efforts have largely succeeded in mitigating global water crisis, though challenges remain. No, that's not. Although it's correct. Again, I'm not saying this option is wrong. But then in CSAT, you do not have to find the right or wrong answer. Is the question saying which is the right answer? Show me. Read the question again. Is it saying what's the right answer? No. It says what summarizes the central message or the crux of the passage. Could it be C then? D then? No. It has to be C. That's exactly what the rule number half also points out to the last line. It needs more than technical solution. It needs a multifaceted solution. C is the valid answer here. Can we proceed with the next passage? A very short and easy passage. Over the last few years, decades, tourism has emerged as a major economic driver for many developing countries. Okay. However, structure word argument changes. Unregulated tourism development can have poor adverse effects on environment and local culture. Although tourism is emerging in a very big way, but sometimes if we do not regulate that, if we do not monitor the pace of tourism, it could lead to some poor effects like increased footfall in ecologically sensitive areas. What do we mean by footfall? Does this not remind you of the word carbon footprint? Footfall means the number of people, the total number of people who are visiting a particular area. Okay? The total number of people who are visiting a particular area. Now that's referred to as a footfall, right? Is that not true? Yeah, that is okay. So that's what we are saying, that the total number of people who visit a particular area at a given point of time. Isn't it? So we are saying that sometimes when too many people suddenly come to an area that is ecologically very, very sensitive, that's ecologically a very, very delicate terrain, then what will happen? It will have a very poor effect on environment and local culture. Okay? That's what they are saying. Now, if too many people come to ecologically sensitive zones, it could lead to destruction of the natural habitat. Yes, you've seen so many wildlife conservation areas, so many mountains. Even you're saying that Himalaya mountains are now being dotted with plastic pollution. But that's the danger of too many people coming there suddenly. And of course, it will lead to a disruption of wildlife. Yes, just yesterday we spoke about the Asola Bhati Wildlife Sanctuary in Delhi. That was my session I took day before yesterday. And the government says that it's near Delhi and so many people come to visit in the touristic season that the wild animals are becoming very disturbed. Obviously, that completely leads to human-animal conflict. Simultaneously, alongside, there is a commercialization of local traditions. Now, local people have some kind of traditions that also get commercialized when too many tourists keep coming. Okay? And sometimes local people present their culture to make the tourist happy. That also leads to lack of culture diversity. Your own culture dies in the process because it's no more authentic. You're doing something to please the others. Therefore, structure word, thus, a balance must be struck between economic benefits. Yes, tourism has economic potential, but please make sure that you don't abuse it. Please use it only. Okay, so you should make sure that you should earn money with tourism, but please also preserve your culture. Too many people just going, like for example, there's a very beautiful, the largest river island in the world, the Majuli Island in Brahmaputra River near Assam. So there, so many tourists come during the non-monsoon seasons that people continue to showcase some particular kind of folk culture, particular kind of music. So also because people really want the tourists to come and enjoy and to appreciate their culture. But sometimes it's too taxing on the local people also. So that's something we need to make sure. There has to be a regulation somewhere, okay? So sustainable, again, another word is being repeated here. Something that is long lasting. Sustainable tourism therefore should mean, yes, people should participate, but policies of tourism should also be very responsible. Fixed number of people, fixed slots perhaps, less pollution, and naturally it would mean a balance in both the things. And travel policies is the only way forward. So sustainable balance solution. Now the question, what kind of a question is that? Passage based question. According to the passage, what role does community participation play in tourism? Yes, the passage has in the last line, rule number half, which means all the last lines of the passages are always very important, particularly last two lines. Okay, especially when the passage is a short passage, it's a squat passage in that case. Okay, so let's see. A, what's the role of community? It increases profit from tourism? No. B, it makes tourism more sustainable and respectful? Yes, that's exactly the role that communities should play. They should, see, it's just a copy from the passage. Passage-based question means the answer and the question both are in the passage. Yes, that's the role. What role do they play? They make tourism more sustainable? Yes. They could lead to a solution where travel policies are responsible? Yes. Sustained and more respectful? Absolutely. While D says fewer tourists? No. C says local voices are included in tourism planning. Rule number 2, out of scope. We are not talking about planning. Okay, so therefore absolutely B will be the valid response. A very easy question. So proceeding with the next one quickly. It's talking about a democratic society. Let's quickly analyze the passage. The passage says in a democratic society or in democratic societies, freedom of press, media. The freedom of media is considered essential for holding power to account. Power to account? It's important because media could play the role of a watchdog. Media could make sure that media can arbitrate wherever government policies are exceeding their limits. So public power is always controlled by media focus and media critical analysis. However, structure word argument changes. In recent years, there has been a rise in the spread of misinformation and fake news through both traditional and digital media. Yeah, we know that nowadays we are too much into yellow page journalism, which means that the media people are trying to sensationalize the topics. There are always consistent newsroom arguments going on, and digital media, social media is also spreading a lot of fake rumors. That's very unhealthy for a democracy, of course. This has blurred, it has completely made it invisible. It has made it very, very confusing. Once again, I taught you a new word today, nebulous. Yeah, it has made it nebulous, ambiguous. Something that you can't see clearly, invisible, or very, very disturbed in view. The line between free expression and harmful content. Media is important, but when media starts spreading disinformation, we can't draw a line whether media is doing a good role or a bad role. While state control, government control over media may lead to a suppression, a domination of dissent. Dissent means somebody who's criticizing openly. Complete deregulation allows for unchecked, open manipulation of public opinion. So what should we do? It's a confusing question. It's a dilemma. It's a dilemma. It's a choice between the devil and the deep sea. Why? Because if you control media too much, it means you are being very, very autocratic. But if you completely give media a freedom, what happens? Media will do misinformation. So what to do? Last line, structure word therefore, and rule number half, last line. Therefore, establishing an independent media regulation mechanism, that rule number 3, that could safeguard both the freedom and accuracy is important in the current information landscape scenario, in today's modern day scenario. So what's the solution as per the passage? Well, the only solution here is that we create a third party, a regulatory mechanism, an organization that makes sure that media has freedom, but at the same time media is not abusing that freedom by spreading fake information among people. So what's the best message of the passage? Theme. What's theme? Message, crux, gist, theme, central idea, main idea. What is that? TBQ, theme-based question. What's the secret message you learned from this case study? A. Misinformation is a bigger threat than censorship. No. The passage is not saying this, that media spreading fake information is a bigger danger for democracy, but controlling the media is okay. No. The passage says it's a very difficult choice, dilemma between whether to control media, that's called censorship. That's not good. But what to do if you leave it open, completely free? It will create some kind of a fake misinformation. So the choice is between both. We are not saying one is more crucial than the other. No. B. Press freedom should be curtailed to prevent its misuse. No, that's not the solution given by the passage. C. A democratic society must choose between freedom and truth. No, passage is not saying like that. Absolutely D. Media regulation. Please match it with the last line. Media regulatory mechanism. Mechanism is a process, a system. Must strike a balance. It should create a balance between what? Freedom, yeah, that's what the passage says, match the following, and accountability. Accurate information. Yeah, so exactly we are pointing out to the solution by the passage, and D is your valid response. Quite an easy passage, in fact. Now the next passage, it says scientific research depends heavily on funding. So it's good to have innovation, but unless there is some money with which you can publish and do more research, there's no point. So scientific research does depend on money mechanism, funding. Often from public institutions, yes, the money can come from public government institutions. Money can come from corporations, rich companies, private donors, yes. Even your Nobel Prize was at once upon a time created by Alfred Nobel. It was through private donor. So all big ideas need funding. While such funding is important, essential, it can sometimes influence the direction and even the outcome of the research. Very interesting. Now, if somebody is doing a scientific research and investigation and the person is depending on a company for money, maybe the results will not be transparent. There could be opacity in the research. The person who gives the money has the power to influence the outcome of the research, and that's why it causes lack of transparency. Studies have shown that research funded by vested interest. What is vested interest? Interests that are only favoring very few people. Okay, so the benefit of few people over all others is called vested interest. Sometimes funding could lead to vested interest, and then it always creates a result that will favor the person who has given the money. The sponsors are favored. This has raised a concern about the objectivity and the credibility of scientific findings. What is objectivity? Neutrality. When something is non-biased, it's the opposite of subjectivity. Just like you have your objective type questions, where there is no opinion needed, just the right answer. So objectivity is very empirical, it's very logical, right or wrong, yes or no. There's no question of any bias or partiality, okay? So this becomes doubtful if the money is coming through a donor sometimes. Safeguarding the integrity. What's integrity? What's integrity? Integrity is character. Integrity is the authenticity. If you want to keep the scientific research authentic, therefore structure word, it means strong ethical standards. You must make sure that no matter who gives the money, the outcome will always be neutral and unbiased. It should be transparent, and funding sources, peer review mechanisms could actually resist. They could actually spoil such outcomes sometimes. So the reality is that although funding is important, but we must have a balance. We should make sure that funding doesn't lead to lack of transparency. So It's better that you have a complete clarity, transparency about how and who is doing the funding. Maybe many people can fund it together. And peer reviews. Peer reviews, when there is a scientific research, many other scientists in the industry also read that. And they also give their input so that the outcome is considered fair. Otherwise, even in medical science, we will never trust any medication if the researchers are not undergoing peer reviews or adequate safety mechanisms. Okay, that's the passage. Question: which is the most rational and crucial inference? So we don't have to think two times after reading this word. It's an inference based question. Options: A, public funding is generally less likely to compromise scientific neutrality than private funding. No, that's not what the passage says. Funding can be any, private, public, anything. It will always impact the research if funding is not transparent. So out of scope. Rule number 2. B, corporate funding often aligns researchers with business goals which can pose risks to unbiased outcomes, which means that if a business is sponsoring a research, they will always make sure that the scientist or the researcher will favor that business objective. No, that's not what the passage says. Rule number 2. C, research credibility. Credibility, research authenticity, integrity, something that we saw earlier. How much belief can you put in something? The belief quotient. It depends on clarity, transparency, ethics, regardless of funding resource. Absolutely. So no matter who funds you, the second line says funding can be anything. See, first line, public institution, corporations, private donors, that doesn't matter. Funding is important. What's important? Last line, transparency in funding is very important. So no matter what the source, it's transparency that we are trying to ask for. D, limiting private influence in science requires restricting sponsor involvement in research design, not possible. If there is funding, there will always be an involvement. So better let's have a transparent mechanism, making C the most authentic answer here. So now let's see the another passage here. And I think this passage is also talking about food safety in general, climate change, let's see. In recent years, there has been a resurgence, re-emergence, when something springs back out of resilience, it comes back. There has been a re-emergence of interest in local food systems and farm-to-table movements. Oh my God, this theme is so repetitive. Trust me, it's becoming a cliche in CSAT now. Every year you have a question based on folk to farm, farm to folk. Farm to table, farm to plate. Back in 2018 also there was a very important question by WHO, World Health Organization, which said about this. Okay, so that's what we are saying. In the last few years, there has been a constant development of, once again, people's interest towards local food. Let's eat local. People say eat local, think global. So eat local native food. For example, we have in India, we celebrate the millet. We are going back to millet consumption. So that's again an example of resurgence in local food system. And farm to table movements, which means eat pure. Do not eat processed foods. Do not eat foods that are coming from companies, but always eat foods that are coming directly from the farmers. Proponents argue, those who propose this theory, they argue that, rule number 3, important next line, locally produced foods reduces carbon footprint. Remember, I just spoke about carbon footprint. The amount of carbon emission that is secreted by one per individual or per unit. Individual carbon emission is called your carbon footprint. How much carbon secretions do you make? How much pollution are you doing? Okay, so that's associated with transport, regional economies, and it fosters community connections. So therefore, people who believe in local foods, they say that once you start adopting local food ecosystem, you are not only helping the community to bond together, you are also making sure there's less pollution, lesser carbon emission. So now, critics, but those who do not believe in local food, one is proponent, opposite is critics. Critics, however, say that rule number 3, however, structure word, rule number 4, such systems may not always be efficient or scalable enough to meet the demands of urban population. So people who criticize depending on local foods, they often argue that, okay, it's a good thing, but will it be able to scale enough to fulfill the food needs of everyone? Can you make sure that local foods will fill up the stomach of so many people in urban areas? No, that's difficult. Supply chain problems will be there. Supply will be short. Nonetheless, advocates say that local food systems can complement. Okay, so the proponents are now giving an alternative picture. They say that, okay, do not completely depend on local foods, but definitely you could try that you can use local foods along with foods that are, coming out of a global mechanism. So we can have a complementary existence of both. Okay, eat global food, but also use some local food so that some development happens on the indigenous local food system side. So they say that global food supply chains can ensure food security. But sometimes when local foods are also supporting global supply chain, maybe we can solve the problem of food crisis during emergencies like pandemics or in case there is a climate change disaster. So when both come together, better outcomes can be achieved. Okay. So the question again is, which is the most appropriate assumption underlying the arguments in the passage? The word assumption, conclusion. The word conclusion, inference based question. So please find out the inference. What's the most logical conclusion I can draw from the passage? A. Locally sourced food generally offers environment and social benefits. That's not what the passage says. B. Consumer awareness about food origins has minimal impact on food system. It's the opposite. Passage is saying that by using local food, you can actually help community connections develop. So we can't say. Rule number 2 out of scope. C. Strengthening local food systems improves resilience. Match the following. Last line of the passage, rule number half. Yes, resilience and it complements. That's what we are saying. Let the local food complement. Let the local food actually supplement, complement. See, match the following. Global supply chain so that in emergencies we have a mix of both to help food security. Absolutely correct. D. Reliability of food distribution depends on both local and global supply network. No, we are not talking about reliability of food distribution. No, we are just saying that can both kind of food systems complement each other to solve global hunger crisis? Yes, they can. So C is absolutely the valid answer there. So the next passage again talks about some health related issue. It says global health organizations have for a very long time, they have emphasized the importance of vaccination in preventing infectious diseases. Yes, that's what World Health Organization says. Many more NGOs says that if you want to really keep the population secured, if you want to prevent your population from contracting infectious diseases, vaccination, another good word for vaccination, inoculation. Inoculation. So vaccination, preventive health could be a major step. However, structure word, vaccination hesitancy. The fact that many people do not want to take vaccines, that doubt is there, has emerged as a significant challenge in the last few years. This has increased misinformation. A lot of poor information, religious beliefs, lack of trust in authorities. Sometimes because of cultural biases, people do not want to believe in scientific medication at all. This hesitancy undermines, it completely dies, it completely kills the effort of degrees of progress that public health has made in controlling the outbreak of diseases. Okay, so for example, we are saying by 2025, finish tuberculosis. Or we say that, yeah, today we are completely ruling out any severe cases of, say, smallpox. Or say we would say that polio is almost next to existence now. So all these are happening because people are taking vaccines. But when some communities or some people show hesitancy, when they do not agree, they are endangering our progress towards eradicating those diseases. So now, while mandates and penalties may increase compliance, if you punish people for not taking vaccines, if you put fines on them, if you make it compulsory, mandatory to take a vaccine, that may help really. But building public trust is more important. For example, in India during the 1970s, right during the period of emergency, a situation had come where a lot of people did not want to go up for birth control programs because the government had enforced it. But later, after the population policy, much later, the government renamed it as family welfare. And that's when a lot of people went and readily adopted that. So rather than forcing people to take some medical intervention, it's always better to actually cajole them into it, to convince them for it, win their trust first. And that's what we are saying. That will enable more transparent communication and community involvement in vaccination. So public health is basically about trust that people have on medicines more than technology. You may have the most sophisticated technology, but what's the point if people do not trust it? Okay, so that's important. So then, which is the most logical inference? Inference-based question. Which conclusion should we draw? A. Vaccine hesitancy can only words such as only, all, never, each, every, none. Please, they should make you very, very cautious because these are called extreme words. We could eliminate options with extreme words. Passages are always neutral case studies, especially in the case of inference and theme-based questions. Not correct. Let's see D. Public health organizations have failed to promote vaccines effectively. We are not complaining against them in the passage. Rule number 2, out of scope. C. Vaccines are less effective today due to changing disease patterns and mutations. No, we are not talking about mutations or changing disease patterns in the passage. Out of scope. Absolutely, B is correct. Public involvement, engagement and education are crucial to overcome vaccine hesitancy. Absolutely, because unless you win people's trust, nothing will change. So B is the valid inference. Next passage is right here. It says India's startup ecosystem has grown very fast, rapidly, supported by demographic dividend, young working population. So keep focusing on these synonyms because I really enjoy giving you synonyms because I know they will help you in other passages in future as well. So India's young workforce is there that has led to a better startup ecosystem. Yes. Increasing digital penetration and growing appetite for innovation. Beautifully said. It means that, yeah, people are ready to make digital innovations. People are ready to adopt technology. People really want to do innovation now. Yet, structure word argument changes. Rule number 4. Several early stage startups, they fail within the first 3 years of their development. What's the reason? One major reason is a mismatch between innovation and market readiness. You can have a very good idea, but will that idea be absorbed and adopted by the market is another question. Sometimes your idea may be brilliant, but it may not be adopted readily in the market. A very good example could be the solar pumps for irrigation. Of course, under PM Kusum, the government has done massive implementation, put crores of rupees into it, but yet there are farmers who still depend on conventional groundwater mechanism. So every time the market also has to be ready, no matter how good your innovation be. Okay, so this is one problem. Another problem is that sometimes people fail to meet actual consumer needs. So maybe your idea is beautiful, but whether people really need your idea, whether it satisfied a consumer's need is another question there. So furthermore, startups often lack access to mentorship. Sometimes startups grow, but then there are problems. They can't scale their business. Funding is there, but there's nobody to show the right path. There is a lack of corporate guidance also. Guidance on business scalability. Can you grow your business effectively? That people don't understand. These are all young entrepreneurs, remember. They do not have much experience. So policy makers and incubators, people who make policies at the public level, and incubators, those people who are encouraging the startup ecosystem, they should therefore understand that fostering, encouraging, giving a boost in the arm to entrepreneurs requires more than just excitement. I cannot just be very happy that, yeah, I will start a business. That's not enough. We also need a better support ecosystem. We need business training, we need market understanding. What do the consumers really need? And then financial planning, which is sustainable. So what's the question? Which idea is supporting the passage? So idea is always a theme-based question, TBQ. So what is that? A. Funding is the only is a structure word. Please eliminate. It's not correct. B. A great product will always is also a. Is that a structure word? Extreme word. Only is an extreme word. Always is an extreme word. So we can use rule number 2 and eliminate both the first two options. C. Startups thrive. Thrive, grow. They really get nourished with both innovation and structured support. Yes. Of course, you need enthusiasm, innovation, but you need something more. Business insight and better financial planning. That's what the passage says. D. Startups fail. All. Oh my, this is such an interesting question. There is golden rule number 1 in all 3 options. You can eliminate A, B and D easily. All are extreme words. Only, always, all. Obviously, through elimination also it is option number C only, which is the valid response. So quickly the next question. It says literature often reflects the psychological and moral dilemmas of the time. Yes, a lot of people say cinema and literature mirror the society in which they are created. Absolutely. So literature will always reflect the psychological, what people think, and moral. What's the value system of a society? All those confusions, thinkings, ideologies are reflected through literature. In many classic novels, characters grapple. What is grapple? Jostle. Another good word is jostle. Struggle. They struggle with choices between duty, desire, society, self, tradition, change. So various protagonists, characters and stories that you read, they often deal with such problems, and that shows that these happen in real society too. Internal conflicts though shaped by historical contexts, are deeply human and continue to resonate with the readers. Yes, when we read a novel or we see a movie, we so often beautifully relate to the person in the movie. We associate with those characters because we know the problems that they are showing, they are depicting. These are also the problems we also go through in our lives. So we have a better resonation with them. Resonate, we relate to them really well. Okay. Now, by exploring the depth of human behavior, if a writer or if a novel is exploring to a great depth how a human character and behavior is, what can we do then? We also have an insight into beautifully about, through literature. We can entertain people also, but structure word, we also understand that real human condition, human life exactly is what type. So, it is always through the lens, through the eyes of fictional dramatic stories that, rule number 3, last line, rule number half, readers come to know and understand emotion, motivation, and moral dilemmas. Another good word for dilemmas, ambiguities. I taught you the word ambiguity, nebulous, confusing, confusions. Okay, so that's beautifully, it's a narrative based passage, case study. It tells you that characters sometimes show you real world problems. They entertain you, but the real thing is they show you the depth of human character and dilemmas of human life. So the question, please, which of the following best captures the purpose of the passage? Now, purpose is the intention, idea, message. So, which means it's a theme-based question. A, literature is more important than history in shaping society, out of scope. We are not comparing. B, literature reflects universal human conflicts and help us understand them. No, literature doesn't show you universal human conflicts. It shows you human nature in depth and human condition as per the passage. C, classic literature has no relevance in modern world. And D, literature should only be read for emotional satisfaction. Only, extreme word, eliminated. So if all the options are wrong, then which is the right answer? All these options I'm saying have a problem, then which could be the most valid answer? Why? Why will B be the valid answer? Is it not out of scope? Literature reflects universal human conflicts and helps understand them. So that is what I want you to focus upon. That's the beauty of synonyms that we need to understand. When I say human conflict, we do not only mean the fact that one person is fighting another person, no. What we are trying to highlight, in fact, is that depth of human behavior, internal conflicts between people, the conflict between duty, desire, self, society, tradition, change. So out and out, the secret diamond rule, the word that's getting repeated in the passage consistently becomes conflict only. So these are some observations you should make. If you look at it at the first time, it will look incorrect. Yeah, of course, we are not talking about a conflict, but actually that's the secret message. Constantly we are talking about this dilemma, conflict. Dilemma, conflict. The last line also talks about ambiguity, conflict. So absolutely B will be the valid answer. If you could catch it at the first go, that's beautiful. If you couldn't, see, this is the problem in CSAT. You see it and you will reject it. Understand that there is always a synonym at play here. This is ambiguity, this is conflict, this is the ambiguity and dilemma. So yes, we understand these dilemmas and we also understand how we relate with them. Absolutely. The next passage now, it says many cities around the world are now turning towards the concept of 15-minute cities. What do we mean by that? So we are talking about spatial. Another good word for this could be spatial planning. What is spatial planning? When you study Indian urbanization, you study the word spatial planning. Planning an urban space in such a way that everything is very reachable. You do not have to really commute or travel too much. Everything is nearby. School, workplace, park, grocery, everything is just a short walk or a bicycle ride from your house. That's very good. What's the aim? Reduce dependency on transportation and hence control emission. Enhance community interaction. People live together nearby, so they will interact better. It will improve your quality of life, yes, but what's the problem? Critics, structure word, however, worry. Rule number 3, that such models may not be practical in an area that's densely populated or economically stratified, where poor and rich live together. How can you create similar facilities for everyone when, because of their economic differences, they can't use the same things? Okay, different schools, different grocery choices for people with different incomes. Nonetheless, urban planners argue that, rule number 3, last line, rule number half, This concept could actually work as a guideline to rethink, to reimagine how cities can be better organized, focusing on human scale living rather than car centric expansion. Yes, because if you make everything too far off, if it is spatially diffused, then obviously you will depend on transport more. If it is spatially condensed, that's a very good word I'm teaching you, spatially condensed, everything nearby, it enables you less transportation, better interaction, and a short livable area. So now let's see what urban planning principle is clearly supported by the idea of 15-minute city. Is it A? Cities should prioritize highways over local roads. Completely out of scope. We didn't even see that. B. Centralized infrastructure planning is more important than neighborhood accessibility. C. Neighborhood should offer essential services within a walking distance. Absolutely. That's the definition of 15-minute city. Absolutely correct answer. Match the following in the passage. D was talking about high-rise development, again out of scope. So very easy to figure out answer. Now this in front of you is a slightly lengthy passage. So when we break down a lengthy passage, let's not completely focus our energies on reading every line. Let's do a smart reading now. Okay. Let's see how a smart reading looks. I'll read the first line. Over the past century, education systems across the world have increasingly prioritized standardization. What is standardization? It's a word that you will also study in your GS paper 1, 2 and 3. Standardization means when everything is the same kind, creating similarity or creating a form of uniformity in your product. So education is trying to be same now across the world. Why? Uniform testing, same structured curriculum, performance, which means tests, examinations, are all trying to understand how learning can be evaluated, judged, examined. Okay, so now let's quickly see wherever we have structure words, we'll focus more. Okay, so structure word I can see moreover. There is rule number 3 that. Of course, there is another rule number 3 that here. Let me quickly pick them up. Last line definitely I will use rule number half. And of course, I will also make sure that after just one thorough reading of these important structure words, rule number 3 and the last line, I will jump to the question. So first line, I know we are talking about the problem of standardization or similarity in education system. Now let me focus on this important tips from the passage or important rules from the passage. Say for example, critics argue that emphasis on testing, taking examination reduces, narrows the focus on education, stifles, plays with, interferes with creativity and overlooks, ignores, gets indifferent to critical learning skills such as collaboration, ethical reasoning and adaptability that are important, vital in modern complex world. Structure word argument changes. Moreover, standardized systems often ignore local contexts. Your local culture is not taken care of. Individuals are also different from each other. That difference is not taken care of and the value of experiments are not given priority to. Last line, focus on rule number half. Some educators advocate for a return to learning-centric models, not standardized models. That, rule number 3, empower the students to explore, question, create knowledge rather than just to observe knowledge passively and to then go and write it in the exam. Rote learning. Learning by cramming is something passage doesn't like. Let's see the question quickly. We've done a very smart reading and that's how you read a lengthy passage. Don't read each and every word. Focus on the word that, focus on the structure word and the last half line. Question says, which of the following is the most logical and rational inference from the passage? Inference based question. A. Standardization testing should be completely removed. No, that's not what we are saying in the passage. B. Education should primarily focus on increasing national rankings and score. Definitely that's not what the passage says. C. Current focus on measurable outcomes may be undermining true learning. Yes, absolutely. Passage says when we focus, see, match the following. I'll show you how to match the following. Have you matched it? Yes. Overemphasis on testing, when you completely focus on taking a test and assessment, when you measure the result, you often ignore the true purpose of learning like questioning, experimenting and curiosity. That's exactly what the passage says. D. Local education systems must adopt international assessment or testing tools. That's exactly what the passage is criticizing. So rule number 2, out of scope. So in this way, a very difficult passage can also look very easy to you. Okay. So now let's see the next passage. With the rise of global supply chains, okay, globalization and technological automation, again we are talking about AI, smart technology, the nature of employment is also changing. Absolutely, jobs are changing. Many routine tasks were once done by humans are all becoming automatic now. Yes, that's correct. Many new jobs are increasing which require cognitive flexibility. Yes, we are having new kinds of job where people who can actually use very successfully AI models or computers, nuanced digital technology are also the ones who get very good money in the industry. Very valid. Yes, that's a new change. Now, traditional education system, however, they are failing to prepare students for such demands. Correct. When we depend on a very conventional education that's only rote learning, that's only academic in nature, are you giving people skills to learn cognitive flexibility that they should use in adopting AI models? That's not happening. And that's the problem here. So, therefore, we often fail to prepare our students. Experts argue that schools should adopt dynamic, very, very fast changing skill based learning that prioritizes adaptability. We should adapt to the modern day market demand. Critical thinking, digital literacy, yes, that remain very important in new developing evolving job market, that is job landscape. So the word inference means it's an IBQ. Let's quickly check. A, automation will eliminate the need for human labor entirely? No. B, memorization techniques are most important for navigating today's evolving job scope. We are talking about something just the opposite. Cognition skills and dynamic skill based education, not memorizing. Out of scope. C, traditional education must evolve to equip students, to give students modern work demands. Yes, that's exactly the main inference from the passage. D, schools should stop from any form of standardized testing. That's not what the passage says. So quite an easy passage, and very quickly, in less than a minute, we should be able to do a passage. If we know all the rules, with that intention, we should solve these passages. No more than 1 minute per passage. So the next one. Wildfires have become increasingly frequent and intense. Yes, every day there is a case of forest fire. Remember Australia, California, Uttarakhand in India, Himachal Pradesh in India, due to climate change, heat wave, excessive temperature, deforestation, poor land management. Absolutely. These fires not only destroy natural habitats, they are killing wildlife habitats, they release massive amount of carbon emission, they ruin your air toxicity, plus they do global warming, very easy. Despite this forest fire management, mitigation strategy is not good. Why? Because we only react when there is a problem. We are only curative in nature. We are not preventive in nature. Curative is something that takes care of a problem. Preventive is something that prevents a problem. We are not being preventive, we are being curative. We only react when there is a problem, we never work to prevent it. Okay? Experts suggest that rule number 3, proactive approach, very, very active approach, such as controlling burns. If there is a small fire, stop it, douse it. Put more trees and plants. Create such areas where there is no scope of fire. Early detection system, they can reduce the damage also and restore long-term ecology also. Very easy. Let's see the question. What's the main idea of the passage? Main idea, theme, crux, logic, summary, theme-based question. What's the one main learning that you have learned from this case study? A, wildfires and natural events, we cannot interfere with that. Absolutely no, out of scope. B, emergency responses are more important than long-term prevention. Opposite of the passage, rule number 2. C, protective forest management is the key, is the answer to reduce impact of wildfire. Absolutely, this is the valid answer. D, wildfire are caused mainly by arsonists. Arson is a deliberate fire. Somebody who deliberately makes a fire. No, that's not what we are saying, and they should be punished. No. Rule number 2, incorrect. So C will be the most valid response here. So quickly the next question in less than a minute, please. That's the best outcome of comprehension practice and rules, that you can do it in a minute. Social media has transformed how individuals interact and consume information. Yes. How we talk to each other through social media. How do we share information? It's all changing. Transformed means transition, change. While it provides a platform for expression and connectivity, it also contributes to echo chambers. What is echo chamber? Very good word. Echoing is when you hear your voice again. I'll say, ah, and that voice comes back to me, right? Because of the vacuum. It's not getting a place to sort of reflect and just flow away. That's what happens, right? So echo chambers means where same viewpoint keeps getting repeated again and again and again. Say today I raise an idea. It's echoing everywhere. Everybody will make it viral. The whole concept of this has become viral. That has become viral. That is only echo chamber. Copycat. Algorithms, designs, tools that prioritize content based on past behavior intensify the effect of limiting exposure to diverse perspectives. Oh, beautifully, beautifully said. You could please use this in your essay and answer writing in GS paper 3. When you talk about AI, when you talk about social media, you could also use this in GS paper 1. You could use it in the ethics paper. That's the problem of using social media. Rather than exposing you to diverse kind of perspectives, they will continuously give you suggestions based on your past behavior. If I am a fan of climate change problems, if I keep talking and watching videos about that, every day I will get the same recommendation. I will subscribe something, every day that only comes. They will never give me a suggestion about pollution, say, or for example about gender problems, about child labor, nothing. So my exposure is limited, my mental growth will be limited. That's an echo chamber. Okay, some researchers argue that this can reinforce bias and polarization. Yes, because people will only be encouraged to think in the way they are thinking. There is no change, there is no challenge to their thought process. So promoting media literacy, you should be a more informed media user, consumer. And platform accountability is seen as a very good way of navigating this digital landscape more crucially. Beautifully said. It's a lovely passage, really. It's very enlightening, as in it says that unless people have a complete understanding of how to safely use digital media, where I can have information on diverse perspectives rather than getting trapped in an echo chamber. That's important. So, what's the most logical and rational conclusion you can draw? Inference based question. A. Social media encourages exposure to wide range of viewpoints. Absolute opposite of the passage. Rule number 2, out of scope. B. Echo chambers can reduce critical thinking and societal understanding. I agree. Absolutely yes. Echo chambers, same repetitive pattern, same problem, same exposure. It will not let you to allow you to think critically. It will also make you very polarized towards one viewpoint. Absolutely valid answer. Beautiful answer. See, algorithms should be removed from all media platforms. No. Extreme word. Rule number 1. Wrong. D. People should stop using social media altogether. How is that possible? Come on. Rule number 2, it's out of scope. So quickly, the one more question based on the same passage. Which of the following statements are supported by the passage? Okay. When you know a question is in this pattern, statements and codes, what will it become? No matter what the keywords are, it will always be an IBQ. I had taught you this in the CSAT practice series. Prelims. So, 1. Algorithms contribute to online echo chambers. They do, right? Absolutely. They do. 2. Exposure to similar views can increase social polarization. Yes, polarization means people often start believing in some extreme views. And there is a very huge gap between different groups of people. Some are thinking in one direction, some in another direction. There is no democratic viewpoint because of extreme exposure to same content. Correct. 3. Media literacy can help users recognize biased content. Absolutely correct. So D is the right answer. All 3 are taken from passage only, right? Absolutely valid here. So the next passage quickly. Urban green spaces such as parks, gardens and green rooftops. Sometimes people grow some vegetation on the rooftop also to mitigate climate change. It's a very good effective mechanism under Sponge City mission that India is now planning to use, inspired by China. So in that mission also on urban development and regeneration, we use the concept of rooftop greenery. So urban green spaces, whether it's your park, whether it's your garden, whether it's your rooftop greenery, can play a very important, crucial role in improving public health and urban sustainability. See how many times you are exposed to the word sustainable, sustainable, sustainable. That's the beauty of CSAT vocabulary, okay? So learn synonyms and remember the words that you're learning. They reduce air pollution, yes, because trees lead to carbon sequestration, yes. They provide recreational opportunities, yes. Parks and greenery are places where people enjoy leisure. And lower city temperature, yes. They mitigate the impact of ambient heat. Day before yesterday, there was an article in the Hindu, Hyderabad edition. Ambient temperatures are causing a problem that causes urban heat island effect. So these can definitely help that and create natural cooling. Yes. Structure word, however, argument changes. Rule number 4. Rapid urbanization often results in these spaces being undervalued or concretized through infrastructure. People will make buildings, they will never do these kind of interventions. Urban planners and environmentalists argue, rule number 3, that bringing green zones into city planning is not only ecologically a smart thing to do, but also, structure word, but essential for mental well-being, for social cohesion, social unity among people so that they can live a happy life, and resilience to climate change. Yes, if we want to be very strong in the face of climate change, we should go green. So question, Theme-based question TBQ. What's the main idea that you've learned from the passage? A. Green spaces are luxury only rich can afford. Extreme word, eliminate. B. Infrastructure should always, extreme word, rule number 1, eliminate. C. Urban spaces are vital for health, sustainability and climate resilience. Absolutely, that's what the passage says. D. Only. Extreme word, golden rule number 1, eliminate. So absolutely C is the valid answer. It cannot be easier than this, can it be? One more question, same passage. According to the passage, why should urban planners prioritize green spaces? 1. To improve visual appeal of the city, to make city more beautiful and aesthetic. 2. To promote real estate development. No, we are not talking about real estate development in the passage. C. To support environmental and social well-being in cities. Yes, the passage, I'll show you the passage once again. It talks about the word social cohesion. Social cohesion is social unity, solidarity. Yeah, we are talking about social well-being, absolutely. To reduce noise pollution caused by infrastructure, the passage is not talking about noise pollution. So absolutely we can say that C is the right answer, which means only 3 will be the correct statement here. So now there is this one passage which is extremely lengthy, and we have 3 questions that are based on this passage, okay, with which we shall close this session. Since it's a lengthy passage, it needs smart reading. So let's quickly read the passage in a very smart way, my dear. Let's see what the passage says. In recent years, the concept of circular economy has gained global attention as a sustainable alternative to the traditional linear economic model of take, make, dispose. So whenever you see a passage that is using tough words, the first tendency is to get scared. No, I can't manage, it's very tough. No, it's not. Always break down the tough words into easy words and you will find it super simple. What's difficult here? We are talking about economy. We are talking about sustainable economic planning, that we know, correct? We have used the word sustainable alternative, sustainable choice to traditional choice, correct? What is circular economy? The circular economy is an economy that moves on the circular model, which means there is no wastage. It's a zero waste economy, which means that, for example, I'll give you an example here, that the inputs that may be used by the industry can come from agriculture waste, and inputs that are used in the agriculture could come from household waste. Nothing is going waste, remember, just like a forest. In a natural forest, nothing goes wasted. Even the dead body and the carcass of animals and plants further enrich the soil quality. So that's what we mean by a circular economy, where there's no plastic, where there's no wastage, there's no single-use, you can say polythene, or where there's no human dispose that goes rotting and it's non-biodegradable. Nothing of that sort happens. All waste is organic and all can be used by some or the other sector as an input, as a raw material. So therefore, zero waste, very successful economy, very healthy economy. So we should create that. And we should go away from the previous traditional, conventional, outdated, stereotypical, redundant, obsolete path, which is linear in nature. Opposite of circular is linear, which goes in one direction. Create, eat, waste. Create, eat, waste. That is not good anymore. Come on. It has a huge carbon footprint. The circular economy emphasizes minimizing waste and maximizing resource efficiency. Yes, by designing products for durability, reuse, repair, remanufacturing and eventually recycling. Everything is getting recycled here. So what is getting wasted? Nothing. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Very economic friendly, very ecology friendly. Instead of focusing only, solely is only, instead of focusing only on continuous consumption and growth, this circular model creates a closed loop system. Closed loop system, circle. Create, use, reuse, recycle. Create, use, reuse. There is no outlet, no waste only. That's called a closed loop. There is no external outlet, no waste. Very successful model. Okay. Now, this is also something that will create not only economic resilience, it is very, very good for your money because you're not wasting anything. Plus, it is also helping in reducing climate degradation. Absolutely. No carbon footprint, zero emission. Where is the pollution? There's no pollution or no waste here. Proponents, those who support this idea, argue that rule number 3, transitioning, third time you have seen the word transitioning, changing towards a circular economy is not only important for mitigating, addressing climate change, but also it helps you in creating new opportunities because there is always a limited resource that you have. There is a resource scarcity. Resource scarcity could be called resource crunch or resource paucity. This encourages, therefore, innovation in product design. You can be more innovative with the products that you have because you have to reuse them anyway, recycle them anyway. It's beautiful. New business models like leasing and sharing, rather than buying something every time, I can always borrow it. I can always lease it out to somebody on rent. I can share that. Isn't it a beautiful way of saving money and less waste? Why? It's a complete shift in a consumer's mindset. I want to own everything. No, why should you? You are a part of the ecosystem. Why should you own anything? Why to have that private property, capitalistic and very corporatized thinking? Share it with people. Sharing of resources is the best thing you can do. However, there's a problem. Structure word argument changes. Implementing circular economy is a challenging business. It is not without problems, without challenges. It's not. Existing supply chain, regulation, market structures are primarily designed for the conventional linear economy. A too quick change will not be possible because already the market and consumers are used to thinking in a very conventional linear way. Suddenly, how can you make them circular? Immediately, it cannot happen. So, what to do now? Critics are saying that without proper thinking and oversight, circular economy should be reduced to mere branding. Okay, and therefore, unless there is proper planning and proper mechanism, this concept of circular economy can be used by corporations to make a fool out of us. They can tell us we are circular, we have a closed system, but in reality they don't have. How will we know? There is no transparency, there is no proper system. It will take time. No magic cannot happen, okay? So they will do greenwashing. What is greenwashing? Beautiful word. Greenwashing means when you gaslight somebody, when you fool somebody, delude them into believing that you are very eco-friendly, but actually you are not. So it's very common in nowadays. People say, oh, this cloth is very, very sustainable, it's eco-friendly, it's jute. In reality, it's not. We know it is a silk, it's taken from animal. So that kind of thing, okay? So without real impact, without any meaningful, clear, transparent measurement, reporting, strong policy framework, there is genuinely no initiative that can be taken. So what's the solution? In this slide, education, better collaboration between different sectors, agriculture, industry, government, community, civil society. Only then we can create a proper structural change which will enable us to move towards circular economy. A beautiful project, but it is challenging. So we need time and mechanisms to do that. So quickly the question, which of the following reflects the central idea of the passage? Theme-based question, gist, crux, central idea, main idea, summary, theme. What to do? What main lesson have you learned from this case study? A. Economic growth depends on mass production and consumerism. Opposite is true. B. Circular economy is promising but complex shift towards sustainability. Yes. It is very good, very promising, but it's a challenging thing suddenly to adopt. C. Recycling is the only extreme word. Golden rule number 1. Eliminate. D. Current economic models are failing and must be abandoned. They should completely be rejected immediately. No, nobody can reject existing model immediately. It will take time. Out of scope. So absolutely B is the valid answer. Next question. Which of the following statements can be inferred from the passage? IBQ inference. What's the most logical conclusion? Another word you will see in the CSAT exam. Don't get scared. What's that word? What's that word? Corollary. This also means conclusion. Inference based question. Very good. Okay, what can you conclude? 1. Shifting to circular economy requires changes in policy, industry and consumer behavior. Yes, that's what we said. It's a slow change. 2. Circular economy can potentially stimulate, encourage innovation and job creation. Absolutely yes. 3. Without regulations, circular economy risks becoming superficial branding. Yeah, it leads to greenwashing. We just saw how some companies greenwash us to believe that yeah, they're very eco-conscious, but in reality we know they are not. Correct. All three are correct. So absolutely D is the valid answer. And now to the last question of the day. What assumption underlines the passage's argument in the favor of a circular economy? Is it A, businesses are willing to redesign their products for long-term use? No. B, environmental challenge can be solved solely. What is solely? What is solely? I taught you only. Only is an extreme word. So solely will also not be correct, right? It's a synonym after all. C, linear economy model is unsustainable in the long run, or is it D? Waste reduction can fully be achieved through recycling initiatives. No, not only through recycling, there are many more things that go into it. While C is absolutely correct, a linear economy model, make, eat, throw, that is not sustainable. You will completely deplete all your economic resources. You will create a situation where nothing will be left in this world anymore. So that's not something we want, okay? So therefore, it's very important to make a transition from a linear economy, that's make, create, waste, to a circular closed system economy where you make, use, reuse, reduce, share, rent out, reuse. So that it's a complete closed loop. There is no outlet of wastage, and when there's no wastage, economy thrives, environment thrives, and that's what we are talking about. So with that brings us to an end of the SAKSHAM test explanation series for CSAT verbal ability segment, and thank you so much for solving all these passages beautifully with me here. Do remember the golden rules, do remember the diamond rule, and do remember that it's very important to identify the question correctly, whether it's a TBQ, IBQ, or a PBQ. And with these strategies intact, definitely you can solve one passage in a minute. That's the recipe for success in the CSAT exam. Thank you so much.
రావట్లేదు అది ఆ స్టూడియోలో ఇది మనకి
brother, ready? I'm ready. Yeah, wait.
ఇక్కడ తెచ్చు సార్
చూసుకో సార్.
యా ఓకే. Hello all, welcome to Narayana IAS Academy. This is Prashant. Now I will be taking up the SAKSHAM CSAT test explanation for the maths and reasoning component. Now we will start with the questions. So this is the first question, and this question is from the topic data sufficiency. So when it comes to the questions of data sufficiency, there will be one question statement. Along with that, two more statements will be given. With the help of the given statements, whether we can check the first statement, the question statement is correct or not. So this is the thing that we have to check. Now let's see the question statement. So the question statement is P smaller than Q? So there are two numbers. We have to check whether P is less than Q or not. So this is the question statement. Now what is the first statement? P plus Q is greater than 0. So the first one is P plus Q is greater than 0. So let's take any examples. For example, I am taking 2 and 3. So 2 plus 3, that is 5, which is greater than 0. Okay. So that means question statement can be solved using this one. But 3 plus 2 is also greater than 0, right? So just a minute, sorry. So 3 plus 2 is also one case, right? So 3 plus 2, 2 plus 3 is greater than 0. 3 plus 2 is also greater than 0. But if you see, 3 is not less than 2. So that means with the statement 1 alone, we cannot tell that question statement is correct. So with this statement 1 alone, we cannot say that this statement is correct, right? So just take the examples 2 and 3. 2 plus 3 is greater than 0. At the same time, 3 plus 2 is also greater than 0. So we cannot conclude that P is less than Q. So that is the first statement given. What is the second statement? P square is smaller than Q square. So P square is smaller than Q square. Now take any example. For example, I am taking 25, that is less than 36. So P square is equals to 25, Q square is equals to 36. Now if you see 25 is less than 36, and also what is the square root of 25? 5 is less than 6. So with this statement we can see P is smaller than Q. But there is a catch. So 25, P square is equals to 25 means there are two values for P. So either it can be plus 5 or it can be minus 5. So there are two values for P, that is plus or minus 5. Similarly, for Q also there is plus or minus 6. Now if you combine these two, you are getting four possibilities. So that is plus 5, plus 6, and also minus 5, minus 6, plus 5, minus 6, also minus 5 plus 6. So there are four cases. Now check whether P plus Q is greater than 0 or not. So in all these cases, 5 is less than 6, okay, we can answer the question statement. Minus 5 is less than minus 6, is it? So it is not satisfying. Similarly, plus 5 is less than minus 6, not satisfying. So minus 5 is less than 6, it is satisfying. So this means that with this statement 2 alone, we cannot answer the question statement. So this is also not possible. Now if we combine both the statements, can we answer the question statement or not? Let's check. Now there are four possibilities. Take the same example: 5, 6, minus 5, minus 6, plus 5, minus 6, minus 5, and plus 6. Now there are four possibilities. Combine the first statement also. In which possibility statement 1 is also satisfying? P plus Q is greater than 0. Plus 5 plus 6 is greater than 0. Yes, it is greater than 0. Minus 5 minus 6 minus 11, which is less than 0. So it is not satisfying. Similarly, plus 5 minus 6, that is minus 1, it is not greater than 0. Next, plus 5 minus 6, it is greater than 0. Now, in these two possibilities, both the statement 1 and statement 2 are satisfied. Now check whether the question statement is correct or not. So this is the value of P and this is the value of Q. So 5 is less than 6. Yes, it is satisfying. In the second possibility also, minus 5 is less than 6. It is satisfying. So if we combine both the statements, we can answer the question statement. So what are the options given? The question can be answered by using one of the statements alone, but cannot be answered using the other statement. So this is not correct. Same, the question can be answered by using either statement alone. So we have seen all the possibilities. So this is also not the correct answer. Next, the question can be answered by using both the statements together, but cannot be answered using the either statement alone. So this is the correct answer. So you have to take all the possibilities and we have to answer the question statement using the given two statements. So in this case, if we use only two statements together, then only we can answer the question statement. So this is the first question, which is from the data sufficiency topic. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. Now a store raises the price of a product by 50% and then offers 25% discount. If the original price of the product is 10,000, what will be the final price? So this is from the percentage concept. Very simple calculations you have to use. So the initial price of the product is given, that is 10,000. So on this 10,000, 50% price of the product is increased by 50%. So what is the multiplication factor for 50% increase? Into 150 by 100 into, after that there is 25% discount. So 25% discount means reduction of 25%. So what is the multiplication factor? 100 minus 25, so 75 by 100. So you will get the final value. So 0, 0, 0, 0 will cancel. 15 into 75. So this is nothing but 75. 15 sevens are 105. So 5, 1, 2, 11. So 11,250. This 0 I am putting here. So what is the final price after these two changes? 11,250. So option C is the answer. Okay. So very simple one. If you want to find the percentage increase, what is the multiplication factor? If there is 20% increase, 100 plus 20, so 120 by 100 is the multiplication factor. We have discussed all these shortcuts methods in our CSAT crash course also, so you can explore that course on our Narayana IAS Academy app. So if you solve it like this using the multiplication factor, you can solve these kind of questions in fraction of seconds. Okay. So if the decrease 25% discount, what do you mean by 25% is discount? So it is the reduction of 25%. So reduction of 25% means what is the multiplication factor? 100 minus 25, 75 by 100. So if you do this, you will get the final value. Okay. So this is the second question. So this is from the percentage topic. Now let's see the next question. So this is from a very important topic, problems on ages. So there are several PYQs and we have prepared the question paper based on the PYQ trend analysis. So if you see the question papers of the previous years of CSAT, there is around 70% of questions from maths and CSAT. And also in our SAKSHAM 1, we have given 55 questions from maths. So which is around 70% of the question paper. And also we have designed the test based on the PYQ trend analysis. So what is the weightage is being given to the particular topic, number system, what is the weightage that the UPSC has followed. So based on those trends only we have prepared our test. So you can all attempt. So on our Narayana IAS Academy app, you can go and attempt the SAKSHAM All India Open Test this is. So now let's move to the third question. The current ages of two friends are in the ratio 2:3. So there are two friends, the ratio of their ages is given. For example, the ratio is 2:3. So we can assume their ages, right? This is 2x and this is 3x. So 2x is the age of the first person, 3x is the age of the second person. 12 years ago, the ratio of their ages is 6:7. So 12 years ago, what is the age of the first person? 2x minus 12. Similarly, 3x minus 12. The ratio of these two ages is given, that is 6:7. So 2x minus 12 by 3x minus 12 is 6/7. From this we can find the value of x, right? We have to do the cross multiplication. So 7 2s are 14x minus 12 7s are 84 is equals to 6 3s are 18x minus 12 6 is 72. So 14 minus 8, this is minus 4x is equals to 84 minus 72. So that is nothing but 12, right? So 8 minus 7 1 4 2, so minus 12. So 4 and 4 3s are, so x value is 3. Now what is being asked in the question? What will be their age ratio 7 years from now? So what is the current age? 2x. So from 7 years now, 2x plus 7 by 3x plus 7. So this is what we have to find. We got the value of x, so just substitute here. So 2 into 3, that is 6, 6 plus 7 13, by 3 into 3, that is 9, 9 plus 7 16. So 13 by 16 is the answer. Option B is the answer. So very easy questions. You just have to understand the question carefully. After that, whatever the concept you know and the basic math you should apply. So understanding the question is the key when it comes to the maths and reasoning questions. Even it comes to the reading comprehension also. Understand the question carefully. So then the flow will be formed. After that, you have to apply basic math. Now let's move to the next question. So this question is from simple interest and compound interest. So this is also one of the important topics for the examination. What is the difference between the simple interest and the compound interest on 1,20,000 rupees for 1 year at annual rate of 10% interest rate, and when the interest is calculated half yearly? Now what exactly question is being asked? So there is one principal amount 1,20,000, time period is given, annual rate of interest 10%. On these details, what is the simple interest? And also, if the interest is calculated half yearly, then what is the compound interest? Now what is the difference between both? So first we have to find the simple interest. So what is the formula? PTR by 100. So P is given, that is the principal amount 1,20,000 into time period 1 year, and when it comes to the PTR by 100, time period should always be expressed in terms of years. If it is given in months, you have to convert them into years. Similarly, R is always expressed in terms of percentage per annum. Okay. Now just find the PTR by 100 simple interest. So the R is 10 percentage by 100. So 0, 0, 0, 0 cancel. So 12,000 is the simple interest. Now we have to calculate the compound interest. But here the compound is happening half yearly. So for this there is one simple skeletal formula. So A is equals to P into 1 plus R by N by 100 to the power N into T. So if the compounding is happening yearly, you have to put the value of N is 1. So what is the meaning of N there? That is the frequency of compounding. So for what time period, how many times in a year the compound interest is being calculated? So what is compound interest? It is the interest on the both principal amount and the interest amount. Okay. Now what is the question saying? The interest is calculated half yearly. So once in 6 months it is being compounded. So how many times in a year? 2 times. So you have to put the value 2. So A is equals to P into 1 plus R by 2 by 100 to the power 2t. Now in this formula just substitute the values. Here A is the total amount. If you want to get the compound interest, you have to take the principal from this total amount. So first let's find the total amount. So that is equals to P. What is P? That is 1,20,000 into 1 plus R by 2. R is 10 percentage. 10 by 2 that is 5. 5 by 100 means 1 by 20. 1 plus 1 by 20 means 21 by 20. So 21 by 20 into 2t. 2 into 1 year. So square. So from this 1,20,000 into 21 by 20 into 21 by 20. So this is 0, 0 cancel, 0, 0 cancel, and 2 ones are 2 600s are, and 2 ones are 2 300s are. And 21 into 21 that is 441. 441 into 3 means this is 3. 3 4s are 1 2, 3 4s are 1 2, 1 3. So this is 1,32,300. So total amount is 1,32,300. So 300. So from this if you take the principal amount, so 1,32,300 minus the principal amount is 1,20,000. So you will get how much? You will get 12,300. So this is the compound interest. So now we derived the compound interest also. So which is 12,300. Now what is being asked in the question? What is the difference between compound and simple interest? So compound interest is 12,300. This is 12,000. What is the difference? 300 is the difference. So that is your answer. Okay. So option C is the answer. So simple questions, you have to understand the question very carefully. After that you have to apply your concepts, methods, shortcuts, whatever it is. So but to get the flow, you have to understand the question very carefully. Now let's move to the next question. So Shiben's monthly income was 1,80,000 and his monthly expenditure is 1,30,000. Next year his income is expected to increase by 30%, while his expenditure will rise by 10%. What is the percentage increase in the savings? So this question is from the percentage topic, and you know from the percentage topic every year there will be 2 or 3 questions at least when it comes to the CSAT paper. Even if you observe the PYQ trends, percentage is very important. Even the concepts of percentage you can apply in other concepts also. For example, ratio and proportion, profit and loss, there also you can apply the concept of percentage. When it comes to data interpretation, there also you can apply. So this percentage is very important topic. Now what is given here? Shiben's monthly income is 1,80,000. So income is given, so that is 1,80,000. Now monthly expenditure is 1,30,000. So expenditure is given, that is 1,30,000. Now what is the savings? So total income is 1,80,000. From that, if you subtract the expenditure, you will get the savings, right? So income minus expenditure. So 1,80,000 minus 1,30,000. So that is 50,000. Now next year the salary is expected to increase by 30%. So this is the current salary. On this there is 30% increase. Again use the multiplication factor. What is the multiplication factor for 30% increase? So initial salary is 1,80,000. 30% increase means 130 by 100. Similarly, expenditure rises by 10%. So current expenditure is 1,30,000 into 10% increase. What is the multiplication factor? 110 by 100. So from this, just try to solve everything. So this is 0, 0. So this is 18 into 13. What is 18 into 13? So this is 180. And 18 into 13, 30, 24, that is 54. So 491. So 1,94,000. So the present income is 1,80,000. Next year it increased to 1,94,000. It is going to increase. So similarly this one 0, 0 cancel. So this is 13 into 11. So that is nothing but 341. So 1,43,000. Okay. Now 1,94,000 minus 1,43,000, you will get the savings. So what is 94 minus 43? So this is 1 and this is 5. So 1,51,000. Sorry, 51,000. 51,000. So 43 plus 51, 94. Yes. So current year the savings is 50,000. Next year the savings are going to be 51,000. Now what they are asking, what is the percent increase in his savings? So what is increase in savings? 50,000 and 51,000. What is the increase in the value? So that is 1,000 by the original amount. That is 50,000 into 100. So 1,000 and 50,000, 51s are and 52 is a 2% increase. So just a minute. Shiban's monthly income is 1,80,000 and his monthly expenditure is 1,30,000. So 1,80,000 minus 1,30,000, you are getting 50,000 is the saving, right? Now next year his income expected to increase by 30%. So that means 1,80,000 into 130 by 100. So if you do this 0 and 0, so this is 18 into 13. So 18 into 13 means 18 3s are 54 and this is 18. So 485, that is 13. So this is 2. Yeah, this is where it went wrong. So after increase of 30%, what is the new value? That is 2,34,000. Okay. Similarly, what is the increase after 110? 10% increase into 110 by 100. This is 0. 13 into 11 means 13 and 13, 143. So 1,43,000. Now what is the new savings? So that is nothing but 2,34,000 minus 1,43,000. So this is 1 and this is 9 and this is, so 91,000. So 91,000 is the new savings. So before the savings is 50,000, right now the savings is 91,000. So what is the percent increase? So percentage increase is equals to what is increase in the value? So 91,000 minus 51,000, that is 41,000 by original amount, that is 50,000 into 100. So this is nothing but 51s are 52s are. So 41 into 2, that is 82%. So 82%, option C is the answer. So that is why if you use the concept of multiplication factor, we can solve the questions of percentage very easily. If there is an increase of 60%, what you have to use? Into 160 by 100. If there is a decrease of 70%, you have to use 30 by 100, 100 minus 70, 30 by 100. For example, if there is an increase of 120%, you have to use 100 plus 120, that is 220 by 100. So that is the simple concept of multiplication factor. Let's move to the next question. Find the largest 4-digit number which on division by 169 leaves a remainder of 13. So this is the question from number system, and this reminders, finding the reminders is one of the very important topics when it comes to the exam. So let's solve this one. Find the largest 4-digit number which on division by 169 leaves a remainder of 13. Now what is the largest 4-digit number? What is the highest 4-digit number? So 4-digit numbers actually starts from 1000 up to 9999. After that 5-digit numbers will start, right? So this is the highest 4-digit number. So take that number 9999, divide with 169. Okay, so 169 into 5 if you do, so this is 500, this is 300, 9 5s are 45, so 548, 845, right? So 845 one, yeah. So if you put 5, 169 5s are 845, so you will get 9 minus 5, that is 4, this is 5, this is 154. Next 9, 1549, so 169 into, if you put 169, 8 if you put, so this is nothing but 800, 8 6 are 48, 480 and 72. So what you will get, this is 2, this is 15, and 8 4 13, 8 4 12 and 13, 1352. So if you put 8 here, you are getting 1352, right? So this is nothing but, sorry, you have to put 9 then. So what is 160 in 169 into 9? That is nothing but 1352 plus 169. So 9 to 1, 5 6 11, that is 1 2. So this is 1521. Yes. So 1521. So what you will get? This is 8, this is 2. 28 is the remainder. So if you take the highest 4-digit number, divide it with 169, you are getting a remainder of 28. So that means if you take this remainder from this number, the number will be divisible by 169, right? Are you understanding? Let's say 999. For example, there is a number n. It is divided by 9. It is divided by a. Now the quotient is b, the remainder is r. This is called the dividend. So this is called the divisor, and this is called the dividend, and this is called the quotient, this is the remainder, right? We all know this. Now we can write it like n is equals to a into b plus r, right? So n is nothing but if you multiply this divisor with the quotient plus remainder. So similarly, if you write this here, 9999 is equals to 169 into 59 plus 28. Now if you take this 28 here, what you are getting? 9999 minus 28 is equals to 169 into 59. So that means 169 59s are this number. So that means this number is perfectly divisible by 169, right? So what is this number? 9999 minus 28 means 9971. Got it? So 9971 is the largest 4-digit number which is perfectly divisible by 169. But what is being asked in the question? It should leave a remainder of 13. So just add that remainder here. So if you add 13 here, you will get the answer. So 9984. So 9984, option D is the answer. Understood? The conceptual understanding is very important. So take the highest 4-digit number, multiply with the given divisor, you will get some remainder. So if you take out this remainder, so that means that number is perfectly divisible by this one. But that is not what they are asking. It should leave a remainder of 13. So just add that remainder. So if you divide that, it will leave you that remainder, right? So 9984, option D is the answer. Fine. Next question. Let the square of a number PQ be RRQ, where RRQ is greater than 300 and also PQR are distinct natural numbers. Find the value possible of P plus Q. So what is the possible value of P plus Q we have to find? So again, this question is from number system. And when it comes to the CSAT paper, number system has got the highest weightage. Okay. Every year, if you see, last year 2024, there are around 16 to 17 questions from number system alone. So maths and reasoning constitute 70% of the paper. In that, maths constitutes 50%. In 50% of questions, number system almost constitutes 45 to 50%. Very important topic. So in this number system, concepts will come like classification of numbers, LCM and HCF, divisibility, reminders, and also counting number of zeros, finding the unit digit. All these concepts belong to this number system. Very important, every single topic, every year there will be questions from this, so you should not neglect this. Even if you take our CSAT crash course, which contains 30 lectures constituting both English and maths and reasoning. So we have covered this number system under 3 parts. We covered all concepts. Also, we have solved past 15 years PYQs on every single topic. So you can explore that. Now let's see the question. So what is given in the question? Let the square of a number PQ. So there is a number PQ. The square of the number is RRQ. This is the first condition given. Now let's see what are all the possibilities for the first condition. Now if you see it here, PQ square. So Q is here also, here also. So what is the possible digit? If you square it, you will get the same unit digit. So just think of possibilities. If you take 0, 0 square, it will give 0. So 0 is one possibility. 1 square, it will give you 1 only. 2 square, it is giving 4. So it is not. 3 square, it is giving 9. Similarly, 5 square, it will give you 25. So that means 5 only. 5 is one possibility. Similarly, 6. 6 square, 36. So if you square the 6th digit, you will get the same unit digit. So from the first condition, there are 4 possibilities for Q. But also, they said that where P, Q, R are distinct natural numbers. 0 is not a natural number. Natural number starts from 1 and up to infinity. So 0 is not included. So 0 is cancelled. Now we got 3 possibilities for Q. That is 1 or 5 or 6. Okay. Now what is the next condition given? RRQ, it is a 3-digit number which is greater than 300. And this RRQ is square of a 2-digit number. Now let's try to understand what is this one. Take any 2-digit number, for example 11. So 11 square is equals to 121. But it is not greater than 300. So you have to find those 2 digits whose square is greater than 300. So with which it will start. 17 square is 289. So it is not greater than 300. But if you take 18 square, that is 324. 19 square, 361. 20 square, that is 400. Up to, if you go to 31 square, you will get 961. If you take 32 square, you will get 1024. So that means if you take any 2-digit number, if you square it, you should get a 3-digit number. So possibilities are starting from 18 only, right? Because if you take 17 and take the square of it, you are getting 289. But they are asking this 3-digit number should be greater than 300. So this is not possible. Similarly, if you take 32 square, you are getting a 4-digit number. But RRQ is a 3-digit number. So there are only possibilities from 18 square to 31 square. Now there are so many numbers, 18, 19, 20, 21 up to 31 are there. But we have already one more condition. Unit digits must be 156. Now if you combine these two, you will get limited possibilities. So with 1 between these numbers. So 18 to 31, what are all the numbers which starts with 1, 5 and 6? So that is 21 and also 25, 26, 31. Now you got only 4 cases. Now if you take the square, 21 square is 441, 25 square is 625 and 26 square is 26 square. So this is nothing but 6 6 is 36, 6 2 is 12 and 15 and 52. You will get 6. This is 7, 676. And 31 square is 961. Now PQ square is RRQ. So that means 10th place digit and unit place. So 10th place digit and 100th place digit should be same. Now in this case, so 4 4 is same, in this it is not same, so it is not possible. 6 7 not same, not possible. 9 6 not same, not possible. So the only possible case that you are getting is 21 square is equals to 441. So that is the only thing. Now what is the value of PQ? PQ square is 21 square. So that means PQ is equals to 21. What is R here? 441, RRQ. So R value is 4. That's it. Now what is being asked in the question? What is the possible value of P plus Q? So PQ is 2 1. So 2 plus 1, that is 3 is the answer. So that is option B. Understood? So again, the most important thing is you have to understand the question carefully. Here we are not using any formulas, anything. So we are just using basic math. But you have to understand the conditions given in the questions very carefully. Then only you can form the flow. Okay? Now let's move to the next question. So this question again from the number system. As I told you, number system holds the highest weightage when it comes to the CSAT paper every single year. You see 2022 paper or 23 paper or 2024 paper. Every year almost 17 to 18. Sometimes there will be 20 questions also. So total questions are 80. Out of that 17 questions are number system only. So several years you can find this pattern. Now let's read the question. Consider the following integers A, B, C, D, E. So there are 5 positive integers, that is A, B, C, D, E. Now 3 of them are not divisible by 2 and 2 of them are divisible by 2. So what is the meaning of divisible by 2, not divisible by 2? So that is nothing but even and odd numbers. What is an even number? If a number is divisible by 2, that is an even number. If a number is not divisible by 2, that is an odd number. So what they are saying, in these 5 positive integers, there are 3 even numbers and 2 odd numbers. Okay. Now, consider the following statements. So it is a statement based question. So what is the first one? A minus B minus 2C plus D plus E is definitely divisible by 2. So before solving this question, let me say one thing to you. In these kind of questions, the terminology is very important. So sometimes they will give you like this expression can be even. This expression is definitely even. So what is the difference between the both? Can be even or may be even means it is a possibility. So if you try to find the value for the expressions, you will get many possibilities. In any one of the possibility, if it is even, so that means it can be even. But what is the meaning of definitely even? So that means in all the possible cases, it must be an even number. So that is the difference between these two. Now what they are giving, this expression is definitely divisible by 2. So that means this expression is definitely an even number. Now we have to see how to do it. Now what is the given expression? A minus B minus 2C plus D plus E. Now take this that side, A minus B plus D plus E minus 2C. So in these kind of questions, you have to use one concept that is called properties of even and odd numbers. So they are nothing but very easy properties. If you add two even numbers, you will always get even number. For example, 4 plus 2, 6. So even minus even number, you will always get even number. Similarly, odd plus odd, you will get even number. Odd minus odd, you will get even number. Similarly, even into even, you will get even number. Even into odd, you will get even number. Odd into odd, you will get even odd number. So like this, there are several properties. If you want to remember, just substitute the values. Even minus even, 4 minus 2, 2 you are getting. So that means it's an even number. Odd plus odd, 3 plus 9, 12. So you will get even number. Odd minus odd, 9 minus 3, 6. You are getting even number. Odd plus odd, and also odd plus even, you will always get odd number. For example, 2 plus 3, you will get 5. So odd plus even will give you always odd number. So with these properties, you have to solve these questions. Now let's try to understand the first statement. So this is the expression given. If you see this term 2c, this is always an even number. Even if you put odd, even if you put even, if you multiply any number with 2, take an example, take an even number. For example, 4 I am taking, 4 into 2, 8 is an even number. Take an odd number, for example 3, 2 into 3, 6 you are getting, that is again an even number. So if you take any number, multiply with 2, you will get always even number. So that means this is an even number. So for C, there are two possibilities. C can be an odd number also, C can be an even number also. Now let's take case by case basis. So the first thing is C is odd number. So we are always finding the possibilities. You can also solve these questions by putting values also. But you have to consider many options and all. But this is the standard approach that you have to follow in these kind of questions. So with this standard approach, you can answer all questions of this kind. So for this C, I am taking two possibilities. Either it can be an odd number, it can be an even number. If it is an odd number, let's say. Now consider this expression. C is odd number. There are two odd numbers. So that means in these four numbers, there is one odd number and three even numbers. So let's say these are all even numbers. This is an odd number. So even minus even plus odd. So it will give you, so plus 2c also is there, right? So odd minus 2c is always an even number. Now apply those properties. Even minus even plus even, it will always give you even number. So even plus odd, it will give you odd number. Odd minus even, for example 3 minus 2, 1. So you are getting an odd number. Okay, so in the first case you are getting an odd number, but what is the question they are giving? A minus B is definitely divisible by 2. No, it is not divisible by 2. If you take the second case, with this only you can answer the statement whether it is correct or not. But let's see what is happening here. So if C is an even number, so one even number is here. So that means in these four numbers, there are two even numbers and two odd numbers. So let's say this one even minus even plus odd plus odd. So this is again even number. So in this case you will get even minus even plus even, that is even number. Odd plus odd, again even number. So even plus even, you are getting even number. So for the first expression, there are two cases. It can be an even number, it can be an odd number. But what is the statement saying? It is definitely an even number. So it is wrong. Now, if I modify this statement stating that A minus B minus 2C plus D plus E, that is may be divisible by 2, may be an odd number, then that statement will be correct. So that is why you have to be careful with the terminologies they are using. Definitely means in all the cases it should be divisible by 2. So first statement is wrong. Now let's take the next statement. So what is given in the next statement? A plus B plus C minus D plus E. Now here no multiplication of 2, nothing is there. So 3 even numbers, 2 odd numbers. Let's say these are all those 3 even numbers, these are odd numbers. Anyways you are doing plus and minus only. So even if you jumble the even and odd numbers, you are going to get the same result. Because if you see in plus and minus, nothing is going to change. So I will take first 3 are even numbers, these are odd. So this is even plus even minus odd plus odd. So even plus even, this is an even number. Odd plus odd, again even number. Even minus even, you will get again even number. So there is only one case for the second expression. You will always get even number. Okay. Sorry, just a minute. Even plus even is even number. even minus odd, that is which number? So there are three even numbers. Just we have done one mistake, that is three of them are not divisible by 2. So that means there are three odd numbers and two of them are divisible by 2. So two even numbers. So we have done it reversely. There are three odd numbers and two even numbers. So let's do from the first statement. So what is the first statement? A minus B minus 2C plus D plus E. So I am taking this 2C to the last. So A minus B plus D plus E minus 2C. This is always an even number. Understood, right? Now there are two cases for C. C can be an odd number, C can be an even number. So let's take the first case, that is C is an odd number. So that means here one odd number is there. So that means here two odd numbers are there and two even numbers are there. So odd number minus odd plus even minus, this is always an even number. So odd minus odd, you will get even plus even minus even. So ultimately you are getting even number. So in the first case. Now take the second case. C is equals to even number. So this one is even number. So one even number is always here. Already here means here one more even number is there. Three odd numbers are there. Now let's take that case. So this is the E minus O plus O minus, this is always an even number. Now see this one, even minus odd, that is odd. Odd plus odd, that is even. Even plus odd, that is odd. Odd minus even, that is odd. So for the first statement, there are two options. It can be an even number, it can be an odd number. Okay. So this is definitely divisible by 2 is again wrong statement. Now take the second statement. What is the second statement? A plus B plus C minus D plus E. Now here no multiplication, nothing involved. Three odd numbers and two even numbers. So let's say these three are even numbers, these two are odd numbers. Now do it even plus, sorry, these three are odd numbers, these three are even numbers, because there are three odd numbers and two. So odd plus odd minus even minus even. Odd plus odd, even. Even plus odd, odd number. Odd plus odd minus even, odd number. Odd minus even, you are getting odd number. So when it comes to the second statement, there is only one option. It will always give you odd number only. So what is being written here? This is definitely not divisible by 2. Yes, it is true. So in all the cases, you are getting odd number which are not divisible by 2. So statement 2 is correct. So the answer will be option B, 2 only. Understood? You can also solve these questions using numbers, by substituting numbers also. But let me tell you one thing. When it comes to the questions related to definitely, you can substitute values. So that means whatever value you substitute, if you get any one thing which is against the statement, that means definitely is not possible. But when it comes to questions like the expression may be an even number or may be an odd number, so that means you have to follow this kind of process. So this is the traditional process to approach those kind of, you have to deal with all the cases and then you have to apply the properties of even and odd numbers. So that is the traditional logic that you have to apply. Otherwise you can also put values. If it is easier, it will give you the answer. Otherwise it will take so much time. Okay, let's move to the next question. Now again similar question, and similar question was asked in 2024 paper also. Let's presume an integer p which has exactly 2 factors and another integer c which has 3 or more than 3 factors. So based on the constraint of p and c, again they have given you 3 statements. So the first one is c plus p by c into c minus p is definitely even, c minus 2p may be odd, p plus 3 by p plus 3c can be even. So in this question, they have given you combination of statements with two kinds of terminologies. So the first one is definitely, so that means it is must. The second one is can be or may be, so that means it is a possibility. In any one case if you get, that is correct. Definitely means in all the possibilities it must be an even number. Now you have to apply the traditional process only. Okay, you can put values also, but it will consume time, but you have to approach it with the traditional logic. Now let's solve this question. So there are two integers, the one is p, another one is c. P is having only two factors, that means it is a prime number. So what is prime number? Prime numbers will have only two factors, the number and 1. The number itself and 1. What is composite number? So this is composite number. Composite number means they are not prime numbers and they have factors more than 2. Okay, 3 or more than 3 factors. So that is. So from this we can say that P is a prime number, C is a composite number. Now when it comes to the prime number, it can be an even number, it can be an odd number. What is the only even prime number? That is 2. After that all the prime numbers are odd. But what are all the cases for prime numbers? It can be an even number, it can be an odd number. Similarly, when it comes to composite numbers, again there are two cases, even and odd numbers. So composite numbers, 9 is a composite number, it is an odd number. 16 is a composite number, but it is an even number. So for composite numbers also there are two possibilities. Either it can be an even number or it can be an odd number. Now if you combine these two, what are all the cases? So this is even odd, this is again even odd. So there are three cases. One is either 2 can be even numbers, either 2 can be odd numbers, or 1 is even number, 1 more is odd number. You may say that there is fourth case is also possible, sir, that is odd and even number, but both of them will give you the same result. So that is why I am considering three cases: even, even, odd, odd, even and odd. Now let's try to find all the possibilities. Now what is the first statement? First statement is C plus P into C minus P. So this is the first statement. Now three possibilities you have to do. So for this there are three possibilities. So the first one is CP is even number, CP is odd number, CP is odd and even number. So these are the three cases. Now put everything. So even plus even, that is even, into even minus even, that is even. So in this case you are getting an even number. Now take the second case, this is odd. Odd plus odd, you will get even, into odd minus odd, again even number. Even into even, you will get even number. So out of the two cases, out of the three cases, in two cases you are getting even number only. Now take the third case, odd and even number. Odd plus even, that is odd, into odd minus even, that is odd. Odd into odd is an odd number. You can see, right? Now for the statement 1, whatever is the expression given in the statement 1, there are three possibilities. In the first case it can be an even number, second case can be an even number, third case it can be an odd number. So that means it is definitely even will be wrong statement, because there are two possibilities. It can be an even number, it can be an odd number. We cannot say that it is definitely even. If the statement reads like it can be even, then that will be right statement, correct statement. So this is the first statement we have discussed. Now what is the second statement? C minus 2p. Again take the three cases. So the first case is even, second case is odd, third case is even odd. Now C, that is even number, minus 2p. Again we have discussed, if you multiply any number with 2, it will give you even number only. So that means this is even minus even, you will get again even number. Now this one, C minus 2p. So this is odd minus 2 into p, again even number. Odd minus odd is again odd number. In this case, this is even number minus this is even number, you will get even number. So for the second statement also we are getting two cases. either it can be an even number or it can be an odd number. But what the statement is reading, c minus 2p may be odd. Yes, there is one possibility in this case. So when it comes to maybe kind of statements, if any one of the possibilities satisfies, that statement is correct. So the second statement is correct. Now third statement. Let's see the third statement. So what is this? P plus 3C. It can be even. Again, take the three possibilities. The first one is even. So the first one is even, even. Second one odd, odd, even and odd. So what is this one? P plus 3C. So even plus 3 into even, that is again even. So you will get even number. Again odd, odd. So this is odd plus 3 into odd. 3 nines are 27. So again odd. Odd and odd, you will get even number. Next, even and odd. So P is even plus 3 into odd, that is odd. E plus odd, that is odd number. So again for the third statement also, we are getting two chances. Either it can be an even number or it can be an odd number. But what is the statement reading? It can be an even number. Yes, there is a possibility. In these two cases, it is getting even. If any one of the possibilities satisfies, maybe statements will always be correct. So third statement is also correct. So what is the answer? 2 and 3 only. That is option B. Okay. So just a minute. Yeah. Let's move to the next question. A student scored 25% in an exam and failed by 20 marks. If he had scored 42%, he would have passed by 48 marks. So what are the maximum marks of the exam? So this question is again from the percentage topic. As I told you, percentage also has one of the highest weightage, and also the concept of percentage will have applications over many topics. So let's understand this one. There is a student, he scored 25% in his examination. We don't know what is the maximum mark in the examination. Now, one of the trick is here, when you don't know anything in kind of percentage problems and all, you can assume some numbers. You can assume some numbers like 1000 or 100, so that calculations will be easy. Let's say I am assuming the max mark in the exam is 100x. So I'm just assuming. Now when the student scored 25%, he failed by 20 marks. So he scored 25%. What is 25% of 100x? That is 25x. But he failed by 20 marks. So that means if he would have got those 24 marks, that is the pass mark. So this is the first condition given. If he had scored 42%, so 42% means 42% of 100x, so that is 42x. If he would have got 42%, he would have passed by 48 marks. So 48 marks more 48 marks than the pass mark. So if you take out this 48 from 42x, that is nothing but the pass mark. Now these two are same, so you can equate these two. So 25x plus 20 is equals to 42x minus 48. So from this 25 minus 42, so that is nothing but 25. So 25 and 45, 20 minus 3, that is 17x. So 17x is equals to 48 plus 20, that is 68. So x is equals to 68 by 17, which is 4. You got the value of x. Now what is the question asking? What are the maximum marks of the exam? We assumed 100x. We know the value of x. So 100 into 4, that is 400 marks is the maximum mark for the examination. So the answer is option D. Understood? So you have to understand the question carefully After that, you have to frame all the conditions and equations. You have to do the basic math. So percentage is one of the easiest topic for the examination. Also, it is the highest weightage, one of the highest weightage topics also after the number system. And also you can use the concept of percentage in data interpretation also, profit and loss also, everywhere. So answer is option D, 400. Now let's move to the next question. Again, this question is from the topic percentage, a very important topic. So Kajendra spends 30% on food, 10% on shopping, 20% on children's expenses, 10% on entertainment, 20% other expenses. He is left with 10,000. What is the total amount spent on entertainment and food together? Understand the question carefully. So there is total income, that is 100%. In that 30% is spent on this, 10% on this, 20% on this. Now he is left with 10,000. So add all the percentages, take out from the 100. So whatever is left, that percentage is equals to 10,000. So you have to do that. So what are all the percentages given? 30 plus 10. So this is 30, this is 10, and this is 20%. This is again 10%, and after that 20%. So if you add all these, so 30 plus 10, 40, 60, 70, and 20, 90. So out of total 100%, 90 spent. What is the remaining? That is nothing but 10%. So what is the left amount? That is 10,000. Okay. If 10,000 is 10, if 10,000, if 10% is 10,000 rupees, what is his total income? That is 100%. That means 1 lakh is the total income of the person, Kajendra. Now what is the question asking? What is the total amount spent on entertainment and food together? Now what are all the percentages on entertainment? On entertainment there is 10%, plus on food there is 30%. So 30%. So 10 plus 30, that is 40%. If 10% is 10,000, so 40% is 40,000. So that is your answer. Very simple questions when it comes to the percentage. Even exam also asks questions like this. So 40,000 is the answer, option B. Understood? Well, let's move to the next question. So finding the missing number. So this question is from number series. So please solve it. You can put the answers in the comment section also. So 3, 12, 60, 360 and 2520. So this question is from number series. So this belongs to the concept component of reasoning. So when it comes to maths, there are concepts like number system and ratio proportion, percentage, mixture and alligation, profit and loss, and also permutation, combination, probability. All these topics belong to the maths component. So when it comes to the reasoning component, you will see concepts like number series, alphanumeric series, blood relation, clock and calendar, puzzles, seating arrangement. So all these concepts, all these topics we have discussed in our course also. You can explore that. So you can find your answers and put this in your comment section. Just a minute. So this is a question related to the number series 3, 12, 60, 360 and 2520. So if you observe the pattern, this is nothing but 3 factorial by 2. This is nothing but 4 factorial by 2. So 3 factorial is 3 into 2 into 1, that is 6 by 2. So you are getting 3. So this is 4 factorial. What is 4 factorial? 24. 24 by 2, you are getting 12. Similarly, this is 5 factorial by 2, 120 by 2, that is 60. This is 6 factorial by 2, and this is 7 factorial by 2. Right? Now, what will be the next number? So the next number is equals to 8 factorial by 2. So what is 8 factorial? We can also find 7 factorial into 8 also we can write, right? You have the value of 7 factorial, that is 2520 into 2. Now into 8 by 2. So you have to find this one. 8 zeros are 0, 8 twos are 16, and 8 fives are 40 and 141, 8 twos are 16 and 20. So 20160 is the answer. So you have to observe the pattern when it comes to the number series concept. So 20160, option C is the answer. Okay, understood? Let's move to the next question. So this is again related to the concept of number series. So here a table is given below are the two identical sequences in 2 rows. Find the value of P plus R. So there is one sequence, there is sequence 2. You have to find the pattern between the sequence 1. Apply the same pattern to the sequence 2. So then you can find the value of P plus R. So if you take this sequence 1, what are all the numbers? 64, 16, 12, 15, 26.25 and 59.0625. Now if you take 64, if you multiply with 1 by 4, you will get 116. So 64 by 4, that is 16. Now if you do 3 by 4, you will get the next number. 4 4 is a 4 3 is a 12. Next 5 by 4. Similarly 7 by 4. Similarly 9 by 4. You can understand the pattern. So first you are multiplying with 1 by 4, next 3 by 4, next 5 by 4, 7 by 4, 9 by 4. So these are all odd numbers, increasing. Numerators are increasing by 2. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So when you have observed the pattern of sequence 1, apply the same thing to the sequence 2. So if this is 36, if you multiply with 1 by 4, that is nothing but 9. So this is the value of P. So what is P here? 9 you got. Now again, what is the value of Q? So Q is nothing but you have to multiply this 9 with 3 by 4. Right? So 36 into 1 by 4. 4 ones are 4 nines are. Yes. So 9 into 3 by 4. It is the value of Q. So this is 9 into 3 by 4. Again, if you multiply with 5 by 4, you will get this R. So what is this R? What is the before number? That is 9 into 3 by 4. Again, you have to multiply with 5 by 4. Now, they are asking find the value of P plus R. So this is the value of P, that is 9. Plus what is the value of R? 9 into 3 by 4 into 5 by 4. So you have to do this one. So this is nothing but 3 5s are 15, 15 9s are 135, 135 into 135 divided by 16. So 135 divided by 16. So this is nothing but 16 8s are 128. So this is 7. So you will get 7, 128, you will get 70. So 0.16 4s are. So you are getting around 8.4. So 8.4 plus 9, that is 17.4. So the nearest value they are asking. So option C is the answer. So you have to find the pattern that is involved in the sequence 1, apply it to the sequence 2. Now let's move to the next question. Ratio of numbers A, B, C and D are given as follows. A is to B is equals to 4 is to 7. B is to C is equals to 3 is to 5. C is to D is equals to 7 is to 12. And also they have given one more condition. A plus D is equals to 360. What is the value of A? Very simple question. So this is from the concept of ratio and proportion. So we have to find the combined ratio first. So A is to B is given, so that is 4 is to 7. Now B is to C is given, that is 3 is to 5. Now in this, what is the common term? So that is B. You can write vertically down. So 3 is to 5. How to find the combined ratio? So replicate this 7 here, replicate this 3 here. Now do the vertical multiplication. 4 3 is a 12, is to 7 3 is a 21, is to 7 5 is a 35. So this is the ratio of A is to B is to C. Now what is the ratio of C is to D? That is equals to 7 is to 12. Now how to find A is to B is to C is to D? We have to find all the ratio, find the entire combined ratio. So in these two ratios, what is the common term? Here C is 35, here C is 7. You have to equate those two. So 7 by 7 into 5, 35 you can equate, right? So multiply this ratio with 5. So what you will get? C is to D is equals to 7 into 5, 35 is to 12 into 5, 60. Because if you multiply any ratio or if you divide any ratio, both the numbers, the value going to remain the same, right? So this is 35 is to 60. So if the C is common in both the ratios, you can find A is to B is to C is to D is equals to 12 is to 21 is to 35 is to 60. Got it, right? Now what is the condition given? A plus D is equals to 360. From this combined ratio you can take A is to D, right? That is 12 is to 60. A is to D is 12 is to 60. Also 12 ones are 12 fives are. So that is 1 is to 5. So if A is to D is 1 is to 5, you can assume value. This is x, this is 5x. Now A plus D is given. A plus D is 360. You know the value of A, that is x, plus value of D, that is 5x, is equals to 360. So that means 6x is equals to 360. So from this x is equals to 360 by 6, you will get 60. Now what they are asking, what is the value of A? So A is nothing but x. So x value is 60. So the value of A is 60. Option D is the answer. Understood? So this is the concept of ratio proportion. Very easy. When it comes to the ratio and proportion, there are some basic operations with ratios. So that is finding the combined ratio and finding out the ratios, and also finding the ratio of two fractions and comparing two ratios also. So these basic operations, if you know, you can solve the questions related to ratios very easily. Okay, let's move to the next question. So again, this question is from ratio and proportion concept. The question reads, Satya saves coins in a box which are in the ratio 6 is to 7 is to 8 with values 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupee respectively. If the total value of the coins amounts to 1200, what is the total number of 1 rupee coins are there? This is also similar question has appeared in the previous year's questions also. So you have to understand the question carefully. There is a bag in which there are three types of coins: 1 rupee coin, 2 rupee coin, 5 rupee coin. Now number of these coins, they are in the ratio. The ratio is given 6 is to 7 is to 8. Now total value of the coins is also given 1200. So from that, how many number of 1 rupee coins are there, we have to find. So like this, you have to understand the question carefully, break down the question, you can solve it easily. Now coins ratio is given, number of coins ratio 6 is to 7 is to 8. From this we can assume, right, this is 6x, this is 7x, this is 8x number of coins. Now this is the 1 rupee coin, this is the 2 rupee coin, this is the 5 rupee coin. Now 1 rupee coin, there are 6x numbers. What is the value? 6x into 1. What is the value of these coins? 7x into 2. What is the value of these coins? 8x into 5. So if you add all this, you will get the total value, right? So this is nothing but the total value 1200. So 6x plus 7x into 2, that is 14x. 6x plus 14x, that is 20x, plus 8x plus 5, that is 40x. 20x plus 40x, that is 60x, is equals to 1200. So x is equals to 1200 by 60. So this is nothing but 20. You got the value of 20. Now what we have to find? What is the total number of 1 rupee coins? So 1 rupee coins, there are 6x coins. 6 into you have the value of x. 6 into 20. So there are 120 number of 1 rupee coins. So very easy question. So option C is the answer. So when it comes to the questions of ratio and proportion, you just have to know the basic operations on ratios. After that, if you understand the question carefully, you can solve it in seconds. Let's see the next question. So this question is from the concept profit and loss. Again, one more important topic for the exam. So every year there will be 1 or 2 questions from this profit and loss when it comes to the CSAT paper. Even if you can see the previous year's question trends also, every year there will be 1 or 2 questions from profit and loss. So let's solve this question. A shopkeeper buys utensils worth 38,000 and marks them at 160% above the cost price. He sells half of the utensils at a discount of 55% and the remaining half at the marked price. What is the overall percentage of loss or overall profit or loss percentage? Now let me tell you one thing. Let's understand the question first. So a shopkeeper, he buys utensils worth. So there are so many number of utensils he bought. So what is the total cost price? That is 38,000. Now he marked the price of those utensils by 160%. So what is the marked price? So above the cost price, he will put some percentage. Always on the marked price, the discount will be provided. Now after marking the products by 160%, half of the utensils he is selling at 55% discount and remaining half at the same marked price. Now in this setup, what is the total profit or loss percentage we have to find? Now let me tell you one very interesting thing. If you see, only one cost is given here, that is cost price 38,000. Remaining everything else, remaining all variables are given in percentage terms only. Also, options are also given percentage terms only. So whenever everything else including the options are also given in the percentage terms, then there is no need to use this 38,000 also. Even if you take 100 also, it can find your answer. So let me show you how. And also when it comes to the discount concept, there is one very important triangular representation. Whenever you see discount problems, first you have to write this is the cost price upon which there is marked price, and marked price, the discount will be provided always on the marked price. So after the discount you will get the selling price. Now if you compare the CP and SP, you will get either profit or either loss. And if you solve the discount questions using this triangular representation, you can solve very easily. This is a very easy method. And all these shortcuts we have discussed in our course also, you can explore that one. So whenever you encounter questions related to discount, you can use this triangular representation. Let's understand it. First there will be cost price, upon which there will be marked price. On the marked price there will be discount, because discount is always provided on the marked price. After that, whatever you will get, that is the selling price. Now if you want to find the profit or loss, CP and SP, you have to compare these two. Now let's apply. And as I told you, if everything else, even options are also asking the percentage terms, no need to use this value. You will get the same answer even if you take 100. Let's say each utensil cost is 100 rupees. So the cost price is 100 rupees. Now it is marked up by 160%. So there is an increase of 160%. What is the multiplication factor? 100 plus 160, so 260. So 260 rupees. So he bought the utensil for 100. Now what is the marked price? The price marked on that product is 260 rupees. Now half of the goods are selling at a discount of 55%. Now for example, there are two utensils that he is selling. So out of that, half of means one utensil he is selling it. So when it comes to the selling price, one utensil he is selling at 55% discount, and one more utensil he is selling only at marked price only. So what is the discount? 55% on 260. So for the first utensil, 260 into 55% discount. So 55% discount means what is the multiplication factor? Into 45 by 100. So if you do this, 0, 0, 2 5s are, and 2 13s are, 5 1s are, 5 9s are. So 13 9s are 927, that is 117. So selling price for the first utensil is 117, and what is the selling price for the second unit? Second utensil, that is the utensil is being sold at marked price only. What is the marked price? 260. Now we have two selling prices for the same. So 117 and 260. So what is the average selling price? 117 plus 260 by 2. So if you find this, so this is 7 and 6 and 1 7 and 377 by 2. So if you do this, what you will get? So 3 1s are, 3 8s are, 3 8s are, and 3 5s are. So what is the selling price? Average selling price you got, that is 188.5. Now as I told you, if you want to find the profit or loss percentage, you have to compare CP and SP. Now cost price is 100, selling the same product at 188.5. So what is the profit percentage? 88.5 percentage. So that is the profit. Simple, right? We have not even used this one, 38,000, but still you are getting the answer 88.5 percentage. C is the correct answer. And this is a very big shortcut. You can use 38,000 also instead of 100. So you can use 38,000. But if you use 38,000 instead of 100 and do the same thing, it will take double the time. Even it may take triple the time. So that is why you have to be very smart here. Understood? If the question, there are so many percentage terms are there, answer is also expressed in percentage terms, you can assume any value. If you assume 100, the calculations are going to be easier. We all know that 100 or 1000 or 10,000. So these numbers will make our percentage calculations very easy. So I have not even used 38,000 in this. If I would have used, so this is one very big shortcut here. So whenever answer is also expressed in percentage terms, assume values like 100 or 1000 like that. So it will be easier. So the answer is 88.5 percentage. Understood? Now let's move to the next question. Now again this question is from profit and loss. So the question reads, Pavan buys two watches for 4,800. He sells one at a profit of 40%, other at a loss of 60%, thereby gaining 2.5% on the whole transaction. What is the difference in the cost prices of both the watches? Now let's understand the question carefully. There are two watches. Pavan bought these two watches. Now what is the individual cost price of each watch? We don't know. Let's say CP1, CP2, cost price 1, cost price 2. Now the sum of these two cost prices is given, that is 4,800. Now he has these two watches. He sold the first one at 40% profit, other one at a loss of 60%. Okay. Now there are two transactions here. On overall basis, he got 2.5% on the whole profit, 2.5% profit on the overall transaction. Now what is the difference between the cost prices of both the watches? So what is the difference between CP1 and CP2? So that's what we have to find. So this is how you have to understand the question very clearly. Now there are two watches. So there are two cost prices, CP1 and CP2. So what is CP1 plus CP2? That is 4,800. Now on the first one, overall transaction, he got 2.5% gain. So after selling the two watches, he is getting this much gain. So that means what is the total selling price? You can find it from here. total cost price is 4800. Upon this there is 2.5% gain. So what do you mean by 2.5% gain? What is the multiplication factor? 102.5 by 100. So from this 0 0, so 48 into 102.5. so what you will get? So you will get 4920. So just to save time, so 4800 is the total cost price, 4920 is the total selling price. Okay. Now what is the next condition? The first one, he is selling at a profit of 40%. So the first was CP1. Upon this he is selling 40% profit. What is the multiplication factor? 140 by 100 plus what is CP2? Second watch is selling at a loss of 60%. Loss of 60% means decrease of 60%. What is the multiplication factor? CP2 into 40 by 100. So that will give you the final selling price, that what we found. So 4920. So from this 140 by 100 means 1.4 CP1 plus this is 0.4 CP2 is equals to 4920. Now you have two equations. This is the first equation, this is the second equation. If you solve these two equations, you will get CP1, that is 3000 rupees. So that is the cost price of the first watch, 3000 rupees. Then what is the CP2? CP2 is nothing but 4800 minus 3000, that is 1800. Now the question is asking what is the difference in the cost price of both the watches. So CP1 minus CP2, 3000 minus 1800, so 1200 is the answer, option D. Understood? So here also if you observe, we are using the concept of percentage only. Mainly we are using that multiplication factor, which is making our questions very easy to solve. If you use the traditional process, that is nothing but profit percentage is equals to profit by cost price into 100. Don't use that. So from that, writing that equation, you have to find the SPCP. That is all cumbersome. If you use the multiplication factor, which is a very big shortcut for these kind of questions. If there is profit of 40% means multiply with 140 by 100. If there is loss of 40% means multiply with 60 by 100. You will get the selling price. No need to apply the formulas. Okay, understood this one? So let's see the next question. Now this question is from simple interest and compound interest. This is also another important topic. Questions will come in the examination from this one also very frequently. The simple interest on certain amount of money for 4 years at 12% annum, 12% per annum is half of the compound interest on 40,000 for 2 years, 10% per annum. What is the principal amount placed on simple interest? Now, the first and the most important thing is to understand the question carefully. So what is the simple interest on a certain amount? So there is a certain amount, simple interest on that amount for a time period of 4 years, 12% per annum. So that simple interest you will get, that is half of the compound interest on 40,000, 2 years, 10% per annum. Now 40,000 is given, 2 years, 10% per annum. Let's find the compound interest first. So compound interest, the principal amount is 40,000, 2 years, 10% per annum. Now how to solve the compound interest? We have the formula. So compound interest is equals to P into 1 plus R by 100 to the power T minus P. But this will take a lot of time. Don't use this formula. There is one very important shortcut. So that is Pascal's triangle numbers. So Pascal's triangle numbers. Just a minute. Hmm. So 40,000, 2 years and 10,000. You have to use the Pascal's triangle numbers. So for 2 years, the triangle numbers is 2 and 1. So for the first year, 10% on 40,000. So that is nothing but 4,000. Again, 10% on 4,000, that is 400. So you have to do the vertical multiplication, that is 2 into 4,000, that is 8,000 plus 400. So the compound interest is 8,400. Okay. Now, the simple interest on a certain amount of money, we don't know the money. For example, let it be P. So P into 4 years into 12% per annum by 100. This is half of the compound interest. So half of the 8,400, that is 4,200. So from this you have to find P. So for this one, 4 ones are 4 25s are, and this is nothing but, so 4 3s are 4 1s are 050. So from this if you do, so 3 3s are 350. So 35 into 25. So P is equals to 350 into 25. So what is 35 into 25? So 35 5s are 5 5s are 25, 3 5s are 15 and 2 75. This is 70. So 578. So 8750. So what is the principal amount? 8750. So option A is the answer. Okay, let's move to the next question. Now this question is from problems on ages. So this is also one of the important topics. The difference between ages of father and his daughter is 20 years. So let's say the age of father is F, the daughter's age is D. So the difference is F minus D, that is 20. Next, 3 years ago the product of the ages was 96. So 3 years ago means F minus 3 into D minus 3, which is 96. So you have two equations. From this we can find both F and D, right? So from this we can write F is nothing but, so F minus D is 20. So from this we can write F is equals to D plus D is equals to F minus 20. Now substitute this D in this equation. So what is F minus 3 into, what is D? F minus 20 minus 20 minus 23, that is minus 23, is equals to 96. So expand this one. So F square minus 23F and minus 3F, that is minus 26F, and this is plus 69, right, is equals to 96. So if you write this F square minus 26F plus, if you take this 96 here, you will get 27. So this is 0. So 26 can be written as 26 into 1. 27 can be written as 27 into 1. So F square minus 27F plus F plus 27 is equals to 0. So F into F minus 27 plus 1 into F plus 27 is equals to 0. So minus 27 plus F minus 27, this is, if you take this here. So what are all the possible values for F? 27 and F is minus 1. So minus 1 is not possible. So what is the age of father? That is 27 years. So the question is being asked, what is the age of father 10 years ago? So that is 27 minus 10, that is 17. So 17 is the answer, option C. Now let's solve the next question. So time and work, this question is from time and work. A contractor hired 30 workers, they can complete a job in 12 days. So 30 workers are there and 12 days. So what is the total amount of work that is available? So 30 into 12, that is 360 units or 360 man days we can say. So this is the total amount of work that is available. After 6 days, only half of the work was completed. So after 6 days, how much work is completed? 30 into 6, that is 180 units is completed. So out of 360, 180 is completed. So the remaining work is 180 units. Now, how many additional workers should be hired to ensure that the work is finished on time, which is 9 days from the start? So 9 days from the start, already 6 days completed. So in the remaining 3 days, 180 units to be completed. So how many number of workers required? So 180 by 3, that is 60 workers are required. So already 30 workers are there. We need 60 to complete this in the required time. So additional 30 workers, that is option A is the answer. Let's see the next question. So XYZ, they can complete a piece of work in 24, 36, 27, 24 days. So individual timings are given XYZ. So this is 24 days, 36 days, 24 days. So we can apply the LCM method. If you find the LCM of this 24, 36, 24. So if you do it with 4, 4 6, 4 9, and 4 6. So this is 6, 6. Sorry, if you put 3 here, 3 2s, 3 3s, and 3 2s. So if you put 2, so 2 1s, 2 3s, 2 2s. So what is the LCM? 2 3s 6, 6 2s 12, 12 3s 36, 36 4s. Sorry, 1 minute. So 4 6s and 4 9s and 4 6s. So if you put 3, you will get 3 2s, 3 3s, and 3 2s, and 2 1s, 2 3s, 2 2s. So what is the LCM that we are getting here? 72. So 72 is the total units of work that is available. So in one day, how many units will be completed by each person? 72 by 24, 72 by 36, 72 by 24. So this is 3 units, this is 2 units, and this is 3 units. Now what is the next condition given? They start working together, but after 6 days X leaves. How many more days will take it for Y and Z to complete the remaining work? So for the first 6 days, all of them worked. So if all of them worked together, in one day, how many units are being completed? So 3 plus 2 plus 3. So that is nothing but 3 plus 3, 6, and 8 units. So they worked for 6 days. So 6 into 8, 48 units. So in the first 6 days, 48 units is completed. Now what are the remaining units? 72 minus 48. So that is nothing but 22, and so 24 units left. So 24 units left. Now how much time it will take for both Y and Z to complete these 24 units? So if Y and Z work together, how many units they will complete in one single day? That is 2 plus 3, 5. So 24 by 5. So this is nothing but 5 4s and 5 8s. So 4.8 days. So the answer is option C, 4.8 days. Let's move to the next question. So this question is from pipes and cisterns. So this is also similar to the time and work concept. It takes 10 hours for 3 pipes to fill a tank. So there are 3 pipes. When 3 worked together for 4 hours, C was closed. Okay. Similar to the time and work concept, there are 3 pipes. Let's say A, B, and C. So in 1 hour, what is the number of units that a pipe can fill? Let's say it is A, B, and C. Now all of them, if they are working together, in 6 hours they can fill. So what is the total quantum of work that is available? You can compare this topic with the time and work. So total amount of work that is available is in 6 hours, A plus B plus C. So this is the total amount of work that is available. Now for the first 4 hours, all of them worked. So that means in the 4 hours, the amount of work that is completed is 4 into A plus B plus C. After that, C closed. Next, A and B worked for 24 hours, 12 hours. So in that 12, A plus B. So this is the total units to be completed. This is equals to 6 into A plus B plus C. So from this, 12 into A plus B is equals to, if you take this there, 2 into A plus B plus C. So from this you can find A plus B by A plus B plus C, which is equals to 2 by 12. This is 1 by 6, right? So if you subtract minus 1 both sides, this is componendo. Here you will get minus C by A plus B plus C is equals to 1 by 6 minus 1, that is minus 5 by 6. So minus minus will be cancelled. What is C by A plus B plus C? That is 5 by 6. Now what we have to find, how many hours would it take for C alone to fill the tank? So what is the total amount of work that is available? 6 into A plus B plus C by, in 1 hour C can fill only C units. So this is the thing we have to find. So 6 into A plus B plus C by C, we have to just swap it. So this is 6 by 5. So 12 into A plus B is equals to 6 minus 4. This is 2 into A plus B. So if you take it here, 12 into A plus B is equals to 6 minus 4, that is 2. 2 ones are and 2 6 are. Okay. Minus 1 means minus 5 by 6. So A plus B plus 6 by 5. So that is nothing but 6 into 6 by 5. So this is 36 by 5. Just a minute. Sorry, here this is small mistake is here. It takes 10 hours for all the 3 pipes to fill. So that means what is the total amount of work that is available? So 10 into A plus B plus C, right? So total amount of work is available, that is 10 into A plus B plus C. After that, for the first 4 hours, all of them worked. So A plus B plus C. For the next 12 hours, A and B worked. So which is equals to 10 into A plus B plus C. So from this, 12 into A plus B plus C is equals to 10 minus 4, that is 6 into A plus B plus C. So from this, A plus B by A plus B plus C is equals to 6 by 12. So this is 1 by 2. So from this, if you take minus 1 here and here, you will get minus C by A plus B plus C is equals to minus 1 by 2. So this is cancelled. Now what we have to find, how much time it will take for the C alone to fill the tank. So total units of work that is available by C. So this is nothing but 10 into A plus B plus C by C means into 2. So 10 into 2, 20 hours it will take for the C to fill the tank. So option A is the answer. Let's move to the next question. So this question is from boats and streams. Ram takes thrice as long as a row to distance upstream compared to the time it takes to row the same distance downstream. So there is upstream, the distance is same, let's say it is D. So this is the upstream and this is the downstream. So this is also same distance. Okay. Now what is the ratio of speed of the boat in still water to the speed of the stream? We know the basic concept, right? If the boat speed is B in the still water and the stream speed is S, when the boat is moving in the upstream, that is B minus S is the relative speed. If it is moving in the downstream, it is B plus S. Now for the both upstream and downstream, let's write. So this is the upstream, this is the downstream. So for the upstream, what is the speed? B minus S. What is the speed for the downstream? That is B plus S. Distance is same for both both down and upstream. Now what is the time taken? Ram takes thrice as long as. So if the time taken for downstream is T, then upstream time is 3T. Now you know the formula for speed, right? Speed is equals to distance by time. When distance is constant, that means S is inversely proportional to T. So that means S1 by S2 is equals to T2 by T1. So from this we can apply. So this is S1, this is S2, this is T1, this is T2. So just apply it here. What is S1 by S2? B minus S by B plus S is equals to T2 by T1. So that is T by 3T. So this is 1 by 3. So if you solve this, you will get the ratio of B by S is equals to 2. Now that's what they are asking. What is the speed of ratio of speed of the boat in the still water? That is B to the speed of the stream, that is S. So B by S is the value 2. So 2 is to 1. Option B is the answer. Now let's see the next question. A motor boat has a speed of B in still water. So B is given, so that is 40 km/h. Similarly, it travels 60 km downstream and returns. So there is downstream distance and upstream. So it is 60 km. Again to come back 60 kilometers is there. Completing the journey in a total of 3 hours. Now we have to choose the correct option below considering the given scenario regarding the impact of stream speed. So what is the impact of stream speed on the speed of the boat in the downstream, in the upstream? So for that we have to find the boat stream speed from the given conditions. So B is equals to 40. Now for the entire journey, what is the, this is the downstream, this is the upstream. So entire journey took 3 hours. So we have to find. So what is the time for the downstream? Time is equals to distance by speed. So what is the distance? 60 km by speed. Downstream speed means B plus S. So that is 40 plus S plus. Again to come back, that is the upstream. The distance is 60 by 40 minus S. So this is equals to 3. So if you solve this equation, you will get S is equals to 0 km/h. So that means in this condition, stream is not flowing. So the speed is 0 km/h. That means it will not have any impact on the speed of the boat. So the answer is the speed of the stream has no impact, neither downstream nor upstream, on the journey of the motor boat. So option D is the answer. Next question. So this is from permutations, combinations and probability. A ticket is drawn at a random from a set of tickets numbered 1 to 20. So there are several tickets, they are numbered 1 to 20. What is the probability that number on the drawn ticket is multiple of 3 and 5? So what are all the multiples of 3? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So these are all the multiples of 3 between 1 to 20. What are all the multiples of 5? 5, 10 and 15 and 20. But they are asking the number should be multiple of both 3 and 5. So in these numbers, what is the common multiple of 3 and 5? There is only one number, 15 only. Now how to find the probability? So for this number to exist, there is only one chance. Out of total 1 to 20, there are 20 chances. So 1 by 20 is the probability. So the answer is option A. Let's move to the next question. So this question is again from permutations, combinations and probability. So a bag contains 30 white balls and 40 green balls. So there is a bag in which 30 white balls are there and 40 green balls are there. Each numbered 1, 2, 3. So on all these balls they have numbers, assigned numbers 1, 2, 3. Among the white balls 20% are numbered 1. So out of these 30 white balls, 20%. What is 20% of 30? That is 6 balls. So they are numbered 1. So on these 6 balls the number, assigned number is 1. 20% are numbered 1 and 40% are numbered 3. What is 40% of 30? 30 into 40 by 100, that is 12. So 12 are numbered 3. Now what are the balls? They are numbered 2. So remaining only, so this is 6, this is 12. So 18. 30 minus 18, 12. So 12 balls are numbered 2. Similarly, for the green balls, 45% are numbered 2. So green balls, 45% are numbered 2. So what is the 45% of 40? So 40 into 45 by 100. So this one, 2 5s are 2 2s are 2 5 1s are 5 9s are 2 9s are 18. So there is 18 2 numbered balls. Similarly, 30% are numbered 3. So how many numbered 3? So that is 12 balls. Now what are the number 1 balls? So they are 18 plus 12, 30. So 10 are the numbered 1 balls. Now what is the question? A boy draws ball at random. He wins if the ball is white and numbered 1. So for winning, there are, if the ball is numbered 1 and white, so when it comes to 30 white balls, how many one numbered balls are there? So there are 6 chances. So in these 6 chances he will win. Also, if it is green and numbered 2 or 3, numbered 2 or 3, how many chances are there? 18 plus 12, 30. So 6 plus 30, that is total 36. Out of total, how many balls are there? 30 and 40, that is 70. So 36 by 70 means 2 18s are and 2 35s are. So 18 by 35 is the probability. So option B is the answer. Now let's see the next question. How many natural numbers with unique digits can be created using 0, 3 and 9? So this is again from the probability permutations and combinations. So unique numbers we have two. So they have given 3 digits 0, 3, 9. Now how many numbered digits they did not mention. They can be 1 digit number, 2 digit number or 3 digit number. Let's say what are the 1 digit number. So 1 digit numbers, how many are there? How many natural numbers? So 0 cannot be the number. So only there are 2 chances. So 3 and 9. So there are 2 chances. Now how many 2 digit numbers are possible? 2 digit numbers. So 2 digit means like this. Now first number cannot be 0, otherwise it will be a single digit. So for the first one there are 2 chances, either 3 or 9. So this is 2 chances. If you put one number already, again you have 2 chances for the second digit. So this is 2 chances. So 2 into 2, you have total 4 chances in the second case. Because you cannot repeat, because unique digits only they are asking, unique numbers. So here 2 chances are there, here 2 chances are there. Now how many 3 digit numbers are possible? So 3 digits means these are the 3 digits. So first number cannot be 0, 3 or 9. So here there are 2 chances. Again after using one number, again there are 2 chances here. Here only 1 chance is there. So 2 into 2 into 1, that is 4 chances. Now if you add all these, you will get all the possibilities. That is 2 plus 4, 6, 6 plus 4, 10. So you have total 10 natural numbers possible. So that is 10, option C. Let's see the next question. A milk container contains 60 liters of milk. So original quantity of milk in a container is 60 liters. From this container, 6 liters of milk is removed and replaced with water. This process is repeated 2 more times. So total 3 times repeated. Now how 3 times repeated? How much milk remains in the container now? So for this there is one very simple formula. So the remaining milk is equals to original amount into 1 minus replaced quantity by original quantity into n. Simple formula. This is one very famous model question. So what is the original amount here? This is 60 into 1 minus what is the replaced quantity? That is 6 liters by what is again original, that is 6 into n times. How many times this process is repeated? 2 more times. So already 1 time done. So 1 plus 2, that is 3. You have to find this value, that is the amount of remaining milk. So 60 into 6 by 10 means 6 ones are 10s are. 1 minus 1 by 10, that is 9 by 10. 9 by 10 cube means 3 times you have to multiply. 9 by 10 into 9 by 10. So if you do this, you will get around 43.74 liters. So 43.74 liters. So answer is option A. Let's see the next question. A vendor marked up the price of a cement bag by 60% and sold it for 1260 after giving successful discounts of 10%, 20% on the marked price of the item. Then which of the following is the correct? So here also you can see whatever we have discussed in the earlier question. If the answer is also given in the percentage terms, you can assume the value. No need to consider the given value also. So initial price, you don't know the initial price. Let's say it is 100. So upon that, he marked up the price by 60%. 60% increase means 160 by 100. After that, giving a successive discount of 10%. 10% discount means into 90 by 100 into. After that, again 20% discount. So 80 by 100. So if you do this, you will get around 115.2. 115.2. So this is the selling price. So initial cost price is 100, the selling price is 115.2. So what is the profit percentage? That is 15.2%. So like this, if answer is also mentioned in percentage terms, you can directly substitute the value 100. So cost price is 100, you will get the percentage. So vendor gained a profit of 15%. So that is the answer. Next question. Find the greatest possible length which can be used to measure exactly lengths 8 meters 75 centimeters, 12 meters and 20 meters 50 centimeters. So this is a question from LCM and HCF. There are three lengths given. You just have to find the HCF. You have to convert all these lengths into centimeters. So the first is 8 meters 75 centimeters. So that is nothing but 875 centimeters. The second one is 12 meters. So that is 1200 centimeter. Third one is 20 meters 50 centimeters. So 2050 centimeters. So what is the greatest length which can be used to measure? So that means you have to find the HCF of these numbers. So if you find the HCF, you will get around 25 centimeters. So this is the HCF. So first take any two numbers, find the HCF using the division method. With that HCF, again take the third number, you will get the HCF. So HCF is 25 centimeter. Option C is the answer. Now the next question. Ram and Sam running on a circular field. Okay, so there is a circular field and Ram and Sham, they are running. Ram takes 24 minutes to complete one lap. So to complete one round, Ram will take 24 minutes. Okay. Similarly, Sham finishes the same thing in 32 minutes. So this is 32 minutes. Now, if both start at the same time and run in the same direction, how long it will take for them to meet at the starting point? So this is 24 minutes, 32 minutes. If you understand, this is nothing but synchronization of events. After what time they will come to the same point? That means that time is nothing but a common multiple of 24 and 32. So you just have to find the LCM of 24 and 32. So that is, if you put 6, if you put 4, 4 6s and 4 8s. So this is 2 3s and 2 4s. So 3 4s 12, 12 2s 3 4s 12, 12 2s 24, 24 4s 96 minutes. So after 96 minutes, they will again come to the same starting point. So option C is the answer. Okay. Next question. So this is from the coding and decoding. So in the certain code, mobile is written as PMEGOC. So mobile, it is written as PMEGOC. So when it comes to these questions, you should know the numbering of our alphabets. So what is the number of M? That is 13, O 15, B 2, I 9, L is 12, E is 5. Similarly, what is P? 16, 13, 5, 7, 15 and 3. So if you observe the pattern, 13 plus 3 is 16, 15 minus 2, 2 plus 3, and this is again 9 minus, this is minus 2, 12 and 15 plus 3, again minus 2. So what is the pattern? Plus 3 minus 2 plus 3 minus 2 plus 3 minus 2. Apply the same thing to this. So pharmacy, what it will become? So PHARMACY. So first write all the numbers of these alphabets. P is 16, H is 8, A is 1, R is 18, M is 13, A is 1, C is 3, Y is 25. So for this you have to do plus 3, for this minus 2, this is plus 3, this is minus 2, this is plus 3, this is minus 2, this is plus 3, this is minus 2. So 16 plus 3, that is 19. 19 means yes. 8 minus 2, 6. 6 means F. 1 plus 3, 4, that is D. 8 minus 2, 6 means that is F. 13 plus 3, that is 16. 16 means P. And 1 minus 2, 1 is nothing but 27 plus 1, 26 plus 27. 27 minus 2, that is 25. So that is Y. 3 plus 3, 6 means again F. 25 minus 2, 23 means W. So what is the required code? SFD, FP, YFW. So SFD, sorry, this is 18 minus 2, that is 16 means again P. So SFD, PP, YFW. So option B is the answer. Now let's see the next question. So this is again from coding and decoding, very simple one. Numismatist and coins. So numismatist is the one who collects coins and studies the history. Similarly, philatelist, he is also someone who collects stamps and studies the history. So option C is the answer. Let's see the next question. So this is from the direction sense test. Again, easy topic. Bharani begins by walking starting towards the east. Suppose initially Bharani is here. She walked towards east. After covering 150 meters, he turns left and walks 50 meters. So when you are in the east, if you are walking left means you are moving north. So in this direction, he walked 50 meters. After that, when he is here, he is facing north. So he turns left again means towards west. He walks 80 meters. So this time 80 meters. After that, finally another left turn. So when he is here, left turn means he is moving south. So he again walked 50 meters. So this 50 same means he is now at this point. Now how far he is from the starting point? So this is 50, this is 50. So that means this is 80. Now total distance is 150. This is 80 means 150 minus 80. So he is at a distance of 70 meters from the starting point. So this distance is 70 meters. So 70 meters, option D is the answer. Now let's see the next one. So this is again from direction sense test. If a person faces north and turns 315 degree clockwise. So right now he is facing north. So we know all the directions, right? So these are all the directions. So this is north, this is south, this is east, this is west. So this is northeast, this is northwest, this is southwest, this is southeast. So what is the angle between each? So this is 45 degree, 45 degree, everything is 45 degree, right? Now initially he is facing north, he turns 315 degrees clockwise. So like this he turns 315. So what is 315 degrees? This is nothing but 360 degrees minus 45 degrees. So instead of making the complete turn, he has made it till here only. So 45 degrees, 360 minus 45. So this is total 315 degrees. Now he is in which direction? So which direction he is facing? So that is northwest. So option C is the answer. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. So this question is from the blood relationship. So you have to solve the questions of blood relationship using simple diagrams. So Surya is the son of Kiran's father's sister. So you have to represent in diagram. So Surya is the son of Kiran's father's sister. So Surya is the son. So like this you have to represent Surya. So positive. So for male we are using plus, and then for female we can use in these diagrams minus, like that. I am just representing. Surya is the son of Kiran's father's sister. So there is Kiran. So let's say there is Kiran here. So this is Kiran. So male. Kiran's father's sister. So there is, let's minute. I will write Kiran here. He is male. So Kiran's father. So there is one person, that is Kiran's father. So this is plus, this is father. And father means definitely he will have a wife. So this is mother, that is minus. Now Kiran's father's sister. Father's sister, this is father. He has one sister, that is sibling. So this is sister, this is minus. Now Kiran, Surya is the son of Kiran's father's sister. So Kiran's, this is father, sister, the son of. So sister has a son, that is Surya. So this is plus. So this is the condition. Next, Sunny is Harika's son, and Harika is the mother of Rana and grandmother of Kiran. So grandmother of Kiran, how we have to write? So this is the father, this father have parents, so we can write like this. So this is father and mother minus plus. Now Harika is the grandmother of Kiran, so Kiran's grandmother, so this is Harika. Okay, next, Arjun Mahatya's father and Surya's grandfather. Surya's grandfather. If you represent all this in the diagram form, so you will get how Surya is related to Harika. You will get grandson. So we will explain this concept in detail. So when you represent all these in this diagrammatic form, you can understand the relationship between whoever are the two persons. So that is grandson you will get. Now again this question is from blood relationship. So here some codes are involved. So A plus B means A is the brother of B, A minus B sister of B, A into B, A star B, that is A is the mother of B. Now there is one code is given, P minus Q plus R into S plus T minus U. Now two statements are also given, S is the nephew of P and T is the daughter of R. So which statement is correct we have to find. Again you have to do the diagrammatic representation. So P minus Q, so that means P is the sister of Q. So P is the sister of Q. So P's gender is female, Q's gender we don't know. Next, Q plus R, that is Q is brother of R. So Q is brother of R. So Q is plus R we don't know. Next, R star S. So that means R is the mother of S. So R is the mother of S. So this is plus S we don't know. Next, S plus T. So that means S is the brother of T. S is the brother of T. So he is brother. So T gender we don't know. Next, T minus U. So that means T is the sister of U. So T is the sister of U. So this is minus. Now this is the diagrammatic representation. What is the first statement? S is the nephew of P. So S is the nephew of P. That is right only, right? So P's siblings son is the nephew. So S is the nephew of P. So statement 1 is correct. Next, T is the daughter of R. So T is the daughter of R. Yes, R's daughter is T. So T is also correct. So statement 2 is also correct. So both the statements are true. Option C is the answer. Next question. So this question is from seating arrangement. 6 friends are there. They are sitting around a circular table facing the center. So 6 positions are there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all of them sitting towards the center. Okay, this is the condition given. Now A is sitting opposite to C. So take any 2 opposite positions. So A is sitting opposite to C. Second condition, E is sitting second to the right of F. For example, this is F. E can be seated 1, 2 positions here. If this is F, he will be seated here. If this is F, he will be seated here. Sorry, if this is F, he will be seated here. So there are 3 possibilities. So with these 2 conditions, we cannot say the exact position of any person. So what is the sitting position of, who is sitting in the right of A? So it cannot be determined using the given statements. Okay, because with the second statement we are getting 3 possibilities. So we cannot determine the exact position who is sitting just right behind the right side of the A. Next one. A quartz clock in a hostel strikes twice at 1 o'clock. For example, it is 1 a.m. So at 1 a.m. it is striking 2 times. Next 2 o'clock, let's say it is 2 a.m. So 4 times. Similarly 6 times at 3 o'clock. So 3 a.m. it is 6 times. So you can observe the pattern here. 1 into 2, 2 into 2, 4, 3 into 2, 6. Next, it takes 42 seconds to strike at 7 o'clock. So 7 o'clock means 7 a.m. How many times it will strike? So 7 into 2, 14 times. Now time period is given. To strike 14 times, it is taking 42 seconds. Right? So to strike one time, what is the time period? 42 by 14, that is 3 seconds. So for one strike, the time is 3 seconds. Now, what is the time taken by it to strike at 11 o'clock? So that means 11 a.m. How many times? 22 times. So one time 3 seconds means 22 times 22 into 3, that is 66 seconds. So that is the answer. 66 seconds, that means more than a minute. So a minute is 60 seconds. So 66 seconds more than a minute. Now next question. So this is related to the concept of calendar. So whenever you see these kind of questions, you have to find the number of odd days. So March 4, 2020, it is Wednesday. So this is March 4, 2020. This is Wednesday. Okay. Now what is the day on Jan 3, 2019? So Jan 3, 2019. So what you have to do? What are the number of days between these two dates? We have to find first. So from Jan 3, 2019 up to December 31st, 2019. How many days? Let's say. Let's exclude this Jan 3, 2019 up to December 2019. So total 1 year, this is not a leap year. So 365 days minus, I am excluding this Jan 3 also. So minus 3, 362 days are there in this span only. After that, Jan 1st, 2020 up to, I am excluding this date also. So up to March 3 also, March 3 only, March 3, 2020. How many days are there? In this Jan, there are 31 days. 2020 is a leap year, so Feb has 29 days plus March 3 days. So 31 plus 29, that is 60. 60 plus 3, that is 63 days. So what are the total number of days between these two? 362 plus 63. So that is 2 and 3, 5, 6, 6, 1, 2. This is 425 days. So if you divide this 425 with 7, you will get number of odd days. 7, 6 is 42 and 5 is the remainder. So 5 is nothing but number of odd days. Now we have to come backwards. Okay. So this is the Wednesday. So after this, there are 5 odd days and 1 day including. So 1 plus 5, 6 days. So we have to come 6 days backward Wednesday. So Wednesday means this is Wednesday, 6 days we have to come back. So this is Tuesday and this is Monday and this is Sunday and this is Saturday, Friday and Thursday. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That 6th day, that is nothing but Jan 3, 2019, that is Thursday. So you have to find the number of odd days, then you can find which day it is. Thursday, option C is the answer. Next question. So this is related to cube and dice and very easy question. So when you see like this one, if you fold this structure, you will get A is opposite to D, A is opposite to D. Similarly, F you will get opposite to B, F you will get opposite to B, and E you will get opposite to C. So there are few combinations. If you fold this structure, you will get this one. Now which is not possible, let's eliminate all. So B, F, E. If you see B and F are opposite to each other, so that means they should not be adjacent. So this is eliminated. If you see this one, E, B, C. E and C are opposite, so they are not adjacent, eliminated. If you see this D and A, they are opposite, so they should not be adjacent. So only option remaining is option 2. So B, 2 only. So that is the answer. Cubes and dice, there are few structures. If you fold them, there are fixed patterns. Now A and B run 6 kilometer race along a circular track whose circumference is 600 meter. So there is a circular track. The length of the track, that is nothing but 600 meters. Now the race is 6 kilometers. So what is the total race they have to run? 6 kilometers. So that is 6,000 meters. So that means there are 10 laps here. So one lap is 600 meters. They have to run 10 times. Now there are two persons, their speeds are in the ratio 2x. So there are two persons, A and B, they are running this race. The ratio is 2:1. So let's say this is 2x speed, this is x speed. If they start together in the same direction, how many times would first one pass the other? So in these total 10 laps, how many times each one will pass? So you have to apply the concept of relative speed. Now what is the distance between them? So that is 600 meters, that the entire track 600. So they are running in the, if they are starting together in the same direction. So when they are moving in the same direction, what is the relative speed? 2x minus x, that is x. So what do we mean by this? For 600 by x minutes, they will cross each other at once. Okay. So after this time period, they are going to cross each other. Now, total 10 laps are there. A speed is more, B speed is x. Okay. This is 2x x. Who are going to complete the race first? So that means A. So in what time he will complete? So time is equals to distance by speed. So total distance is 6,000 by 2x. So this is the total time period. Now what is the time period for them to cross for one time? That is 600 by x. So how many times they will cross? So 6,000 by 2x by 600 by x. So if you do it, x by 600. So x1 za, x2 za, 600 za, 6 1 za. So 2 1 za, 250 za. So you will get 50 times. You will get, sorry. So this is 600, you will get 10. So 2 1s and 2 5s. So 5 times they will cross each other. So option A is the answer. Now let's see the next one. So this is from the concept of time, speed and distance. Simple one, again related to percentage. Charan, a runner, was participating in a running event. After crossing 24 kilometers, he was informed that he has completed 75%. So 24 kilometer represents 75% means 3/4 of the race. What is the total event track? So 1 will represent 24 into 4/3. So 3 8s are 8 4s are 32 kilometer. So the entire race represents 32 kilometer. So option A is the answer. Next question. This is again from time, speed and distance. Two F1 cars decided to test their car speeds by racing on straight track of 160 kilometers. Both ended at B. So for this question, you can find the answer. You can put your answers in the comment section. Any one of you can solve this and put this in the comment section. So the answer is 5:10 p.m. Sorry, 5:16 p.m. So any one of you can put the solution in the comment section. The answer is 17:16. Again, this is related to the concept of relative speed. Now this is from the concept of mensuration. A big cylinder is there. So this is the cylinder. The radius is given 20 centimeters. The height is given 35 centimeters and it is packed in a cube box. So the cube's dimension is 40 centimeter. Now approximately how much fraction of the box is empty after placing the cylinder? So you have to compare the volumes. What is the volume of the cylinder? That is pi r square h. So pi means pi is 22/7 into r square means that is 20 square into 35. So this is the volume of the cylinder. Now what is the volume of the cube? That is 40 into 40 into 40. So from this, if you subtract this one, you will get the empty space. So that empty space by the cube's volume into 100 you will get the fraction. So the fraction is 1 by 3, option B. Now in a school, this question is from reasoning, ranking and order. So in a school, 24 students where number of girls are thrice that of boys. So total 24 students are there. Number of girls is thrice. So that means if the boys is x, the girls is 3x. Now x plus 3x is equals to 24. So what is the value of x? X is equals to 24 by 4, that is 6. So how many boys are there? 6 boys are there. And how many girls are there? 18 girls are there. So this is the given condition. Next, John, a boy ranked 11th from the top. So this is the first rank and this is the 11th rank. So the 11th rank is a boy. The name is John. Now, if there are 7 girls ahead of John, so ahead of 11th means there are 10 positions. In those 10 positions, 7 are girls. Now, the number of boys in rank after him. So, after John, in this niche, so in these positions, how many boys are there? We have to find. So, in these 10 positions, there are 7 girls. So, that means there are 3 boys. Now, total how many boys left? Here 3 boys. He is 1 boy, so 4. So total 2 only left after 11th. So there are only 2. So option B is the answer. Let's see the next question. So this is syllogism. Only employees can participate in the competition. So there is a competition, only employees are the participants. Now some of the participants are women. So whoever are participating, that means in those employees some are women. Next, all women participants were awarded consolation prizes. So consolation prizes means these are awarded to those persons who did not win. Okay. Next, winner prizes consisted both male and female. So in that competition there are some winners. In that winners, male winners are also there, female winners are also there, and all the women participants, they have awarded the consolation prizes. Now there are some statements, conclusions. All women participants were winners in the competition, but they have mentioned that all women got consolation prizes also. So this is a wrong statement, wrong conclusion. All employees who were not winners received consolation prizes. So they did not. Let's see this one. Next one. All winners in the competition are employees. Right. All winners, because whoever are participating in the competition, they are employees only. So option C is the correct. Next one. So there are 4 statements given. Given that statement 4 is true, so that means some F1 cars do not have a powerful engine. What can be definitely concluded? Very easy one. All F1 cars have powerful engines. They are saying that they do not have, some of them do not have a powerful engine. So that means all F1 cars having powerful engine is a wrong statement. So 1 is false. So that is the definite conclusion can be drawn. Let's see the next question. So the average weight of 30 students in a class 40 kg. So what is the total weight? So 30 into 40, that is 1200 kg. So when the teacher's weight is added, weight increases by 1 kg. Now the total weight is nothing but 1200 plus teacher. Now one more person is added. So 30 students will become 31 is equals to weight increased by 1 kg. So 40 plus 1, that is 41 kg. So from this equation, if you find the value of T, you will get around, you will get 71 kg. So 71 kg. So this is the method to solve this question. So 71 kg is the answer. Next, this is again from the average topic. So the average of 4 consecutive odd numbers. For example, x is the odd number. What will be the next odd number? X plus 2. 1, 3, 5. The difference is 2. So next one is x plus 4. Next one is x plus 6. So the average of 4 consecutive numbers. What is the average? Sum plus number of items. So this one, take sum. So this is nothing but x, that is 4x plus 2 plus 4, 6, 6 plus 6, that is 12 by 4. Average is given. So if you do this, you will get x is equals to 87, you will get. Now what is the largest number? So that means x plus 6 you have to do. So 87 plus 6, that is 93. So 93 is the answer, that is option B. So similarly, this question is also related to average. So this one also you can put the explanation in the comment section. So the answer is 91, option A. Simple question related to average. Any one of you can solve the explanation, can put the explanation in the comment section. Let's see the next one. So A1 alphanumeric series, A1, E3, I5 and M7. So you can see A, E, I, M. What is the number? Alphabetic numbering. 1, 5, I is 9, M is 13. So 1 plus 4, 5 plus 4, 9 plus 4. So 13 plus 4 you will get 17. What is Q? What is 17? That is Q. Now number 1, 3, 5, 7. Next will come 9. So Q9 is the answer. Option A is the answer. Right? Now the next question, this is related to the data interpretation. So these are the two farms. So cultivation, so 40% of the cultivation in the farm A, apples, strawberry 10%, grapes 20, orange 30. Similarly, farm B is also given. Now they are asking which of the farms cultivates highest percentage of apples and grapes combined. So apples and grapes, so 40 and 20, that is 60%. Similarly, 40 apples and grapes, apples and 30 plus 25 in the farm B, 55%. Now which farm is having the highest percentage of both? So farm A, option A is the answer. Okay. Now these are all the questions related to this SAKSHAM 1 test explanation. Thank you so much.